On Casually FC, welcome to a late and great Casually Chelsea show. It has been a while. My apologies. Life is just life, and it does life things. Okay, but to be fair, we didn't have much news, but we have a lot of things to go over and talk about and discuss with you guys. So by all means, if you're here for the show, be sure to smash up the like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification to be notified when we go live. Check the links out in the description below. Leave a comment to let us know what you think about anything and everything that we're going to be talking about in today's show. And also, big up to everyone in the chat. Check out the memberships, 4 tiers starting at 99p. You get awesome emojis and other perks along with that as well. Big up to myself, Marshalldbdx, along with Real Chris, Oliver, and Ahmed, who's going to join us any minute as well. And we'll see everyone else as well. But let's get this show on the road, start things off ASAP and quick, because we do have a lot to go over. All right, let's start off with this first one, the Roman revisionism. Okay, so this was shown to me as a result of pretty much everyone going crazy and hysterical about Baghdad Bali and the ownership going into the locker room once again, which, listen, last season, I didn't promote that. I didn't think it was a good idea. Obviously, the locker room is a sacred place that should only really be for the manager and such, and the owners shouldn't be there constantly every day like they were last season. However, there are some exceptions to be made. And if you remember the context, we were in a losing streak. We had just lost to Aston Villa. It was not a good result. And that's when we had Baghdad Bali visit the locker room. But here we have Vince and saying, quoting Steve Sidwell, "When I was at Chelsea, Roman Abramovich used to come in after matches at Stamford Bridge. As a player, I never really saw it as a negative or a positive. If he came in, he didn't have to say anything really. It would be a glare. He never really addressed us, but there was a defeat if there was a defeat or a bad game, he'd come in and it would be oof. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it goes to show, like, I don't care what people say about Roman never did this, Roman never did that. Like, again, there's a lot of Roman revisionism. Listen, I'm not trying to bash Roman. I don't think Roman was a bad owner. I think he's one of the greatest owners of all time, if anything. However, this idea that he was the perfect owner is far from true. As you can see, you have players reporting that even during his reign, he would come visit matches when the standards weren't up to par, which after that Villa game, I think Baghdad Bali had all the right to go into the locker room and have his say. You know, the results weren't so great. The results were really bad going into it, and it even had most of us Chelsea fans thinking that Brighton was a far-fetched. We were going to get knocked out of the Carabao Cup against Brighton. So, I mean, that goes to show the state of the club at the time. Now we're doing a little better because we won 3 in a row, but let's not forget we were in a pretty bad state not too long ago. But Chris, what do you think about this, man?
I do love Roman Abramovich. I don't think we'll get anyone like him again, of course. Like, I will always stand like he's our best ever owner because he always put Chelsea first. He always wanted to win trophies first. That's all he wanted. But, like, I don't mind when owners, for example, just come in, like, an now and then when they have to. But, like, last season, if you saw, like, I didn't like it. I didn't like how Todd Bowley basically came in every time, like, you know, holding the beer, going to the changing room, like, celebrate after just beating Dortmund or something, like, or for example, halftime. The halftime was the worst part, because I heard we did hear, like, he went in at halftime, and I
think it was that was under Tuchel, wasn't it? Right?
Yeah, that was under Tuchel.
Halftime's pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like, you have no I know you own the club, but you have no business to be in the dressing room like at halftime. You just don't. Like, it's leave it to the manager, and don't, like, you know, disrupt like anything to do with like what's happening, like game plan or whatever. Like, but this season it's not to be complained about. Like, they've only done it once this season, as far as I'm concerned.
As far as we're concerned,
no.
Only after that one.
It happened. It actually happened after the Brighton game as well when we won. So this isn't a thing where they're having different energy for the different results. They always go in there. It's whether it's a loss or a win.
They've never won every game, though, have they?
Well, they definitely went in after the Brighton game. That's what I heard at the very least. But no one made a big deal of it because we won that game.
No, like, I don't know if I want them to come in every game still, though. I don't think they have to do that either. But, like, coming in, like, every now and then or whatever, like, if we're doing shit or we're doing well, you know, you can, like, you know, praise them or whatever they want to. I don't know what they say, but yeah, like, I just didn't like it last season. But this season they've done it a lot better. They're letting the manager do what he has to do. That's what you have to do. So yeah, like, they're doing alright this season, I guess.
I mean, me personally,
What are your thoughts? Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with it, especially if we're losing, because like you've got to remember, these players are the investment of our ownership. They're the investment of Bali and Togboli. So they've got a certain feeling that they're going to want their investments to come good, and if they feel like the players aren't applying themselves in the right way, then they're gonna, their pride's going to be hit, and they're going to make their feelings known. And I don't have a problem with that. And for me, it's only a problem when an owner starts undermining the manager and starts like trying to dress people down or give motivational talks. Like, leave that to the manager. You can be there just to say, hi guys, good job and all that. I don't have a problem with that, but I think it's just, it's one of those things where people just want to overblow it for the sake of the fact that it is, it's an American ownership that people don't like and all that. They're just using it as a stick to beat them with when it's not necessarily always the worst thing.
Yeah, I didn't like it last season, but this season ain't too bad. So yeah, it's not much to really talk about. Like owner coming in, at least you know what? At least I see our owners like show up to the games, like every game. At least I will say that. Like you see if Arsenal or Man United or Liverpool owners, they don't really, or even I don't think Tottenham's, they don't really show up for the games. I do like when the owners show up for a lot of the games and watch them and see what's happening. At least there's something like that. Like they show up every game. I love that about Roman when he wasn't banned from the UK. He always showed up to the games and watched and stuff. I like that. I like when the owner comes and watches. That's for sure. Marshall, right? Yeah.
Why is Metalface? I don't know if Metalface is hidden. I don't know if Metalface is hidden. I'll check it out in a minute, Patrick Bateman.
Right.
But yeah. So like what you guys are saying, essentially, like I don't mind it. Obviously, if it's all the time, every time, I think it's a little absurd. I don't think the ownership should be undermining the manager. I think the manager, obviously, it's their club. They can do whatever the fuck they want, right? But at the same time, like I want to let the manager do what he's supposed to do. I want to give the manager the opportunity to fix whatever needs to be fixed. That's what you paid him for, So at the end of the day, like this idea that Roman was never like this, Roman was never like that. Like I just think it's absurd. So it's just like, again, Roman was going into the dressing room all the time and no one said anything. But it's when the Americans do it that all of a sudden it's a problem, because we're looking for any little excuse to, neg our owners, which is ridiculous considering we're Chelsea fans. We should be backing our owners. And until it gets to a point where we hit a threshold. We've only been a season and a half with these guys. It's just ridiculous.
You can't admit, Marshall.
Yeah, no. Last season
yeah.
it was too much. It was too much, especially if it's true what Bowley said to Raheem Sterling. Oh, I paid you $300K a week and all that. Like that's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
He actually said that. I didn't know.
That's a rumor. That's the rumor that they said. So it's just like. It's ridiculous for them to even do something like that. So we'll see what's going on, down the line, how often this happens. But I don't mind, especially when it's like a result like Aston Villa, where we went down to 10 men. We were doing okay. We didn't put away our chances. And then, it becomes a really, really frustrating result. So listen, they're just as much fans as we are. They're going to be expressive as well. So it is what it is. But at the end of the season, if we look at this and we do well, and they've also not been as involved as last season, every single game in and out, then I could care less. They're paying these players' salaries. They're paying for everything on, when it comes to this. So
it's like what you said. I don't know if actually fans, it's just like they put a massive investment into Chelsea, and right now they're seeing it failing. So of course they're gonna be like wanting Chelsea to win. They don't want Chelsea to fail. Like it's weird, like narrative, like they say, oh, they're doing this, it's like failing Chelsea. They're not doing it on purpose. Trust me. Like what they have like as a project, they want it to work, of course. Like and some of the things they've done is actually great. I have praised them on. So. It's just gotta be a bit of patience with this ownership. Hopefully, it works out in a few years, like a couple of seasons. We see, we're actually winning trophies and shit like that.
Yeah, we'll see. But all right, let's go on to the next topic, ladies and gents. We'll move on to new members coming into Chelsea. Now you might be asking, what do you mean new members? Well, let's talk about this. We have a specific position scout. So Jeremy Lade, is that how I say it? Jeremy Lade has joined Chelsea as position specific scouting manager. He was previously in Brighton with Paul Winstanley. Listen. Obviously, it's probably tied with Paul Winstanley. He probably recommended this gentleman. I'm sure our structure is not completely done. Our organization. I'm sure there's like plenty of positions that are still yet to be filled and gaps still left that we have to find people to do. And especially if we're trying to do this multi-club model thing, there's going to be multiple people being hired from multiple areas, depending on if it's the Lisbon focus. The Lisbon, which we will discuss. That's something that could happen. And then the other one being the oh my God, I'm forgetting the club that we just
Strasbourg.
Strasbourg, thank you. Whether it be for developing them or the U21s and all that stuff. But yeah, we got another man from Brighton. I don't know if there's much to be said about this, but I'll let you guys go. I mean, your thoughts on this one.
I mean, we got him really from West Brom. Like he was with Winstanley at Brighton, but his previous job was, as it says here, he was the head of scouting at West Brom. I couldn't tell you if he was any good at West Brom in terms of who he got, because I mean, I haven't heard of a success story of a player going from West Brom to a big club in a while.
This was Brighton before Potter, right?
Well, he was.
If I can tell, 2019.
Yeah, actually, it was before Potter. I think didn't Potter join in like summer of 2019, and this is February 2019 when he joined West Brom.
Yeah.
So
I guess it's before Brighton was that good. I don't know. Like, what do you guys? I don't know. How do you feel about this?
I don't know. It doesn't sound that great to me. Like,
yeah, it doesn't sound that great either.
Like, let's face it, it's West Brom. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a big fan of it. Like, I haven't seen any like actual good scouts to West Brom. I don't know why we looked at him. I don't know. Like, I could be wrong on all this. Like, he could have done amazing stuff. Like, I just don't know. But like, it just doesn't sound too good. Let's be honest. I don't think any of us can really praise it. Well, not praise, but like say what they've done, like what's important or what's like he's done good or whatever. Like, I don't know. Unless Andrew knows, but nah, it doesn't sound that great to me.
I have no idea how to react to this news. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm a little rusty, okay? It's been like 3 weeks since I did a show.
Do you know what? Can I shock you? This is the first time I'm hearing this. I didn't even.
Hey,
I'm
news to you, man.
It got me. I don't know how to react to this. I'm not angry or I'm completely nonplussed by this news.
Yeah, I think a lot
of
us are.
Like, I don't know what this means. What do you like specific? Sorry. So what? Like he
position specific.
He goes out. He'll only for like a month. He'll only like look at midfielders or.
Well, what I'd imagine it says he's a scout manager. So what I'd imagine is like he's probably like heading up a particular like team of scouts for a position. Like that's all I'm saying. Just inferring that he's a manager.
Oh, okay.
Like he probably isn't the guy actually going out and doing it. Like maybe, maybe a team of scouts that are involved with a certain position. Maybe they report to him. I don't know. That's just my educated guess based on the vocabulary they use there.
Yeah,
obviously.
I don't know how to react to that. I just don't know. I don't know how to react to it. I don't know what. So it's like when they say like, oh, you're telling me this person just bought a share in the Chelsea pitch owners place. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know how to react to it. Really, I've never heard of him, so I can't.
It is hard to react because
this guy.
It's very hard to react because, like I said, at West Brom, he was there from February. He was there from February 2019 until just recently, and ever since then, West Brom got a promotion, and then they got relegated again, and they've been in the Championship for 2 seasons in a row, and then this one as well. So they have not been good recently, and I don't believe they've sold a notable player that's like, oh, that's really good scouting. You picked him up from out of nowhere and sold him to a big club. As far as I'm aware, that player doesn't exist. So you can't necessarily even go off his track record as the head scout of West Brom, because that club has been a shambles for, ever since 2021.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens to this guy. It's kind of a weird appointment. I didn't expect new appointments to be happening, but it does look like these are there's still appointments to be made. So we'll see what happens. We'll probably be hearing his name in the future at some point, along with Joe Shields, which he's been part of the recruitment squad and all that. Or maybe we'll hear he steps down just like Vivell. So we'll see, obviously, down the line. Let's go over to the next topic I wanted to bring up, which was the multi-club model. So there's been some developments on the multi-club model. As you guys already know, we do own the majority of Strasbourg. Now there is a new club that's going to be thrown in the mix potentially. So that will be Sporting Lisbon. According to Footy Insider, Chelsea are set up to step up their pursuit of a Sporting Lisbon takeover deal after securing a new £400 million investment into Sporting Lisbon. So, hey, I think that would be a big one. That'd be big. Sporting Lisbon is not a small club. They're pretty big in Liga NOS. So I think this would be a incredible feat if we happen to get this club, who's already pretty established in that league. What do you guys reckon?
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot more. It's a higher profile than Strasbourg. Obviously, they were in a relegation battle for a lot of last season, and they've never been a club to push the envelope, if you will. So it's definitely a lot bigger. I think we need to see, in order to assess how the magnitude of this, we need to know whether it's developed from the original idea that we talked about on this show a few weeks ago, where it was about we're going to take a minority investment into this club, which obviously wouldn't mean we have the level of control that we do at Strasbourg. So until we hear that for definite, I'd kind of keep my powder dry for now. That's just me, because it's going to be a different level of influence we have over that club depending on the stake we have.
I have no idea. I don't even know one player from that team. But yeah, 400 million. I don't know if that's a bit hefty.
Well, Ugarte came from that team. He went to PSG from there.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, right now though.
There's also that ex-Spurs player, Edwards. Do you remember him? He scored against them last season in the Champions League group stage.
I don't remember.
Marcus Edwards.
Yeah, that's the only other guy I know, really. Fulham got João Palhinha from there as well.
Oh, that's not a bad player.
Yeah,
that is not a bad player. I actually don't mind us buying other clubs. I don't know if it's 400 million is a bit hefty.
I think João played for them as well.
Did he?
No, João Palhinha played for. Oh, what? Was he not? I think he was either at Monaco or Porto. I can't remember. I don't think he was at Sporting, unless that was years ago. But
it's a lot of good players. I had no idea. But yeah, does 400 million sound a bit steep though for the club? Or
I just want to say,
it's a whole club.
I just want to say, by the way,
but they're a nobody club, of course. But
what do you mean they're a nobody club? People know Sporting Lisbon. Surely you've heard of Sporting Lisbon and
no. I have heard of the name. Yes, I have. I don't know, 400 million. That's almost $500 million.
I just want to say, by the way, that investment, I don't think that's not us investing into the Sporting. I think that is that's the investment that we've gotten into us.
Okay.
I don't think, because do you remember there was that reports of that company that put this investment into us? I think that's what it's referring to, not us putting money into Sporting.
Takeover deal after securing a new 400 million.
Yes, exactly. So that investment. So that 400 million investment is into Blueco. That's not into Sporting.
Interesting. Okay. So part of that 400 million could be 400 million pounds worth of Sporting Lisbon in shares, essentially.
We could potentially use it as part of a takeover, and obviously you'd have to have the Sporting Lisbon owners and board and members, whatever. They'd have to consent to it as well before anything could go ahead.
Okay, so this is going to be an interesting thing to see develop. All right, I'm all for it. I mean, I think having Strasbourg is a big one because the French players that seem to be coming out year in, year out, like it's so many good youth coming out of there. And the Portuguese players too. There's a good market for Portuguese players. Something in the water, man. Develop good players.
I don't think the 400 million is anything to do with purchasing Sporting Lisbon. 2 stories together, 2 + 2 = 5. As well, I don't think there are anything like I think we discussed this about a month ago. There was reports going, yeah, they want to take a minority investment, and I was going, with these guys, I don't see them wanting to take a minority investment. I think they want to take a majority investment and have control. That's the whole point of a multi-club model. You want to have control of all the clubs under your umbrella, so to speak. So it's it's one of those where you, like I said, I think the investment is more on the stadium side really than the actual any.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, listen, Sporting Lisbon is Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, it's a good model. Won't we listen to Racing Av or something like that, or Av something, another Portuguese club? It's called that, but Sporting Lisbon's got a bigger profile, so it's that, and you're not really going to buy Porto or, you know what I mean? They wouldn't be considered really feeder clubs.
The only problem I'd consider though is that like we would run into a conflict of interest problem if we were to take a majority stake, because if we'd both be in the Champions League, you know, that would pose a problem if we're both owned by the same entity.
How does the Red Bull though thing work then? Because Salzburg and
Leipzig I know we talked about this before. I theorised it was because of the 50+1 model in Germany, where you know the fans majority own that club and not the Red Bull group. That was my theory.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone in the chat maybe knows. I don't know. I don't know how it works with that. I mean, that's a bridge you have to cross, I suppose, when it comes to it. So,
because I could have sworn that when the Rain Group were doing our ownership thing, where they were looking at everyone, I swear there was one owner. I don't remember their name for the life of me, but I swear there was someone that had some sort of stake in Atalanta, and they immediately declined them because it would have been a conflict of interest with the Champions League.
I kind of remember what you're talking about.
We talked about. I'm pretty sure.
It sounds so familiar.
I just can't remember who that owner or that consortium or whatever. I can't remember who it was, but there was something that where this group or this person couldn't take over because of, you know, having the same ownership of 2 clubs in the same competition.
Yeah, I can't. I remember there was an Atalanta owner. I just can't remember exactly what the rules or what happened exactly. I think at the time we were just trying. I think everyone was focused on Ricketts. No Ricketts. So I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
that was the big one. Yeah, no to the Ricketts. Which, hey, at least we don't have the Ricketts. So.
Oh, I think it'd be a lot worse if we had them.
Oh god, we would have been in the mud. We would have been in the mud. Oh my god. But I mean, that's besides the point. But yeah, let's see what happens with this Lisbon development. This is the second team now, because there was another team earlier. It's the second team now that we've heard connected to the multi-club model, and it's going to be Portugal. So it seems very clear to me that we're looking at clubs in Portugal to take over and expand on this multi-club model that we're trying to do, that City have done and that Red Bull have done.
It's a solid strat, like you said. Like Portuguese player, like young talent Portuguese players are like good. Fairness, or South American ones as well. You could look at as well. They are good. A good amount of talent from there. Very good.
For sure, no doubt. But all right, let's go on to the next topic I had planned for you guys, which is we have some updates on stadium development. It's a shame Ahmed's not here. I don't know what happened to his internet, but he should be coming in any minute now. But anyways, let's discuss some of the tweets here. So Chelsea's new £405 million loan agreement with Ayers Management includes expensive mid-teen interest rates. Todd Bowley and Clearlake secured the loan with Ayers last month to invest in the club's new stadium and Cobham training ground. Chelsea's finance comes in the form of payment in kind (PIK) loans notes with interest set to cost up to £60 million a year. Clearlake and Bowley, rather than Chelsea, are providing security on loan. Then we have Chelsea have already started plans to redevelop their Cobham training ground center and want to increase work on that. We move on to the next tweet. Chelsea have purchased land opposite to Cobham, according to Jacob Steinberg. Then Chelsea have jumped at the chance to buy land next to their training ground Cobham after it became available. They have not submitted any planning permissions, and it is unclear whether they intend to expand their training site. So then we have it is understood Chelsea, who have been at Cobham since 2005, have been holding internal discussions over how to revamp their training ground. Players have been consulted over plans which could lead to construction of one big building that would serve as central hub for everyone working at Cobham. And I think up here is also another thing I should mention is Chelsea have given indications of Neil Bath's growing influence by putting their director of football development and operations in charge of the redevelopment of their training ground. Bath, widely credited with building one of the best youth setups in English football, has been handed greater power under Todd Bowley Clearlake Capital ownership. So this gentleman right here is going to be in charge of any expansion that we do going forward and setting that up, it seems.
Seems like a top guy, man.
I'm sure he does. Then we have here Stamford Bridge development. The consultation period on Chelsea's winning bid on the Stoll site, which we have right here, ended yesterday. This was Wednesday. This was 2 weeks ago. Okay, listen, we're catching up on news. All right, bear with me. I think it will go through what Chelsea's acquisition of the property could mean for the stadium. So we got acquisition of a property. Could potentially expand into that. We don't know yet. But Chelsea's plan to redevelop Stamford Bridge could be blocked after a military veteran took out an interim court injunction against a proposal to sell a 1.2 acre site. The Blues secured an agreement. The Blues secured an agreement in principle to buy the land, which houses 100 military veterans and their war widows for an estimated £60 million in July. So we got some war veterans standing in the way of stadium redevelopment, boys. Go ahead, Chris. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, like, is that like that building highlighted in the yellow? Like, have we bought that?
Yes. We put in a bid for it, I believe.
How is it going to work? Like, because there's houses beside it, right? Of course. Like, how are we going to move the stadium a little bit towards there and like make it? I don't know how it works.
No, we're not moving the stadium, but they were going to do something with that land. I can't remember what. We covered it.
What are they going to do over there? Like,
I believe we covered it a few months ago. I can't remember what they were going to put there though, but it's definitely not. I don't think it was anything to do with. I don't think it was anything to do with like reorienting the stadium and like rotating it or anything like that. I don't think that was the plan.
No. Well, I don't know what we're going to do over there, but like. I do want to see Chelsea have a newer model of a stadium because like I see like Tottenham as well, like, and Arsenal, like they have very nice stadiums. I think like inside and outside. We have got an old style like most teams like Man United and Liverpool and stuff like that. Like we need to move on and we need to up the seats on our stadium because it's quite pathetic for like Chelsea to have 43,000. I think 42,000. Like, we're one of the biggest clubs in England. Like, we should have at least 60,000. I know it's hard to build on our stadium. I know it's hard to expand it. Like, I think the max we can do is 60 to 80. I don't know the exact number.
No, it wasn't up to 80. Like, that's way too much.
No, but I said 60 between 80. I don't know the exact number, Oliver. That's what I said.
I think it was more. It was a lot closer to 60 than anything.
I thought the first one definitely is going up to 60,000, unless that's the max we can do.
Yeah, 60,000 is around the max. 80,000 or above 60,000 or around 60,000. We just don't have the land space for it. We're landlocked by having the London Underground next to us and having a main road. It's just difficult.
That's why we should have moved it. We should have moved it somewhere else. But
those circumstances are in place, so we can't do much about that.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
saw. I'm not sure. It's probably fake, wasn't it? Like there was actually like a picture of like Chelsea's inside. I think it's fake though. Like it looked amazing. I'm not sure if you saw it on Twitter. It's all over Twitter like the other day or so. But yeah, like I want us to move
Oh.
to this. Are we actually planning to do the stadium at the end of the season or something? Like
I don't
start
know.
doing it
when
all.
Oh no,
the plan
this
is,
development. I think
it's a
Ahmed's
5-year
spoken
plan,
about
isn't
it. It's going to take years because they've got to do
Yeah.
consultations. They have to.
God, I'm
get-
actually
they-
I'm gonna be past 30 when this all happens, man.
Now they have, because they have to do consultations. They have to gain local planning consent. They have to actually make the plans. You know, it's just they've got to subcontract different companies for different work.
Well,
You know,
at
it's
least we're
just a long
upgrading, I guess.
process.
At least we're starting to upgrade it now.
We're,
Been talking too long.
we're only in the planning stage at the moment.
I know,
and,
I
you
know,
this,
but we are planning to still upgrade though. Like that's the good sign for me.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a necessity. You know, we've known this ever since.
Since Roman,
this,
basically, we was doing it. We're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, but the difference on the Roman was that we weren't run as a business, whereas Bowley has to run it as a business now. It's a very different model, so you know he has to make it more self-sustainable, and adding more seats is a huge part of that.
Yeah.
By the way, Metal Face Doom, I just checked and you are now unhidden. I don't know how you got
How
on
did
that
you
list,
get hidden,
but
huh? We don't hide anyone
what
here.
what
It
did you
must have
do?
been it must have been a mod. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one
Hey
of the
mods,
mods.
don't
got-
hide
I'd
him unless
say
he
with
says
the,
anything with an ism or something.
It happens sometimes.
Just gonna say with the
Accidentally.
stadium.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Stamford Bridge is heritage, but compared to nowadays, it's a right old shed. You know what I mean? And you can't really redevelop it anymore. You're gonna have to, if you want to build there, you're gonna have to really smash it down to build it back up again. So it's just not at the level we need it to be. It's not at what the club want it to be when it's run as a business. They see what art their stadium, and they want some of that extra pie. You know, the concerts, the NFL stuff. They want some of that. Do you know what I mean? They want in on that pie. You know what I mean? They want in on that match day revenue. The Spurs get over like £2 million a match day just on revenue. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way it goes. That's all it is. We have to get with the modern times. Do you know what I mean? Our stadium is too small nowadays for a club our size. It's just too small. And by the way, everyone goes, it's 42,000. We rarely get 42,000 in that stadium nowadays. It's about 40,000 we get in. Yeah. We get about 40,000 in, maybe, at a push.
See, I know we're like selling probably a little bit less tickets. I'm just wondering if it went up to 60,000, would it still be around 40,000 at this current state of Chelsea, like of life form?
No. It'll get filled. They don't sell it out for some reason. Not that people aren't buying the tickets.
On purpose. Oh, right.
Yeah, they purposely don't sell it out.
Like special, like just in case special guests come. But then again, that still seems a bit too many. Like
no, it's nothing to do with that. It's just they just don't sell it out for some reason.
That's very weird.
But it's just it needs to be revolutionised, right? Even the Bernabeu has got a serious facelift. Do you know what I mean?
The Bernabeu has a retractable pitch, doesn't it?
I think so. Look at their stadium, the Wanda Luxembourg, or whatever it's called.
Wanda Metropolitano, right?
They moved away from the old stadium. We've got a new stadium. It's a fantastic stadium. You know, we have to get with the modern times. Bayern Munich. You know, they went from the Olympic Stadium to the Allianz Arena. It's just modern days. It's just you have to do it. Juventus.
Just look at the like I was actually kind of embarrassed that, you know, when Chelsea went on that summer tour, most of the stadiums that they played were almost double the size of Stamford Bridge, and they were selling them out. That's all that money that you're missing out on by not having the bigger stadium is absolutely bonkers. And also, like, I find it baffling that, a stadium that can't host concerts and stuff. Like, I feel like that's so modern day now. Most stadiums here in the United States, whenever there's a big band that comes by, the Foo Fighters, Rolling Stone, Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, whoever, you name it, whatever music you're into that's huge and worldwide now, they go and they tour these stadiums. It's just like a multi-use for these stadiums. So it just baffles me that Stamford Bridge isn't one of those picked. It's in the middle of London,
The thing is, you're pricing out the modern fan anyway, right now, because we're having to probably have extortionate tickets because of the size of the stadium to make more money. That's what it is. That's just how it works. It's you cannot stay and have Stamford. We cannot profess to be a big team, a huge worldwide team, and still play at Stamford Bridge the way it is right now.
I feel like it would be the opposite effect too. Like, it might be more expensive at first, but in the long run, I feel like with how many fans are in the fan base, I feel like the tickets will become more affordable. Right now, I think because of how scarce the tickets are, it's the prices are through the roof.
That's the case with all stadiums, though. They have an enormous upfront investment that will have to pay itself back over multiple years. You just can't avoid that based on like how big that kind of development would be anyway.
Yeah. I know, like, because Roman obviously had it quite cheap for a very long time. Actually, had tickets for our small the stadium, and he wanted to move it, but the pitch owners didn't want us to move it. So now, and then I thought we did raise it up after that, didn't we? Because we couldn't move it.
Yeah.
So that's.
But I feel like the initial price is going to be expensive, but in the long run, if we stay in this stadium, I feel like tickets are only going to go up and up and up. They're going to get more and more expensive because of just how demanding it's going to be, how much more expensive these players are going to get. It's just. I think it's inevitable. Inflation is going to kick, and
we can already see it with certain fan services that are in place right now. I think they raised the price of the program, and I know this isn't for home support, but they removed the subsidized coach where they can the fans can get an away coach from the stadium. I think they removed that as well, and there's a big opposition to that, and understandably so, but.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. The Metal Face student put it in there. He's worried about the game being globalized. It's a worldwide game. You know what I mean? If you're worried about the game being globalized, then you shouldn't want us to buy it. You should only want us to have a squad of English players. If you don't want the game to be global, don't get. It's a worldwide game. Okay? Actually, the English clubs make more money from overseas TV deals than domestic TV deals. Okay? The reason they go on the tours during the summer is because they make shitloads of money, and there's more worldwide fans than actual domestic fans. Okay? So you need to get out of this, it's our game. It's not. If that's the case, then you should never want Chelsea to be in the Champions League, right? You should just want us to play Premier League. That's all you should want. That's all. The game is already. The game's a worldwide game. Why do we have a World Cup? If you don't think it's globalized, that makes no sense.
Fair enough. Not even just globally, like outside of the continent, but even just in Europe alone. Like you have multiple countries, multiple clubs from multiple countries and leagues facing each other. So just I think alone.
I think the main concern with this is that, like, if they do what they've done in Italy, and they might have done this in other countries as well, but I think, wasn't it the Italian domestic cup was the Italian cup was played in like the Middle East, wasn't it, the final?
Yeah, the Copa del Rey, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think that might be the main concern, because obviously the Premier League game is going to stay in England. There's no way they're moving unless something mad happens. But we've already seen it in other countries where the cup finals are being played elsewhere, and people might have a problem with that. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just I think
seems odd to me.
Back to the original point of the actual stadium. You cannot sustain, and you want to be self-sufficient. So you build a stadium to become self-sufficient. It's then how you spend the money. Okay, that's what happens. need this money to become more self-sufficient in the future. And then anyway, we just need it. We just need a bigger stadium. You know what I mean? Stamford Bridge is a cathedral. You know what I mean? It's great times happen on that pitch, but just like the team just has evolved, the stadium needs to evolve as well.
Can I say, is it the 11th biggest stadium in the Premier League? Like it's like somewhere down the bottom.
Let me ask you a question right now. I think England, Scotland, Ireland, whatever. I think they're gonna either host the Euros or something like that.
It's England and Ireland.
Or something like that. England and Ireland. Looking at the stadiums we have right now, the Stamford Bridge. Take emotion
Doesn't
out.
stand a chance, Andrew.
Right, it doesn't stand a chance, right?
Doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, in England alone, you're looking at like Wembley, Old Trafford, Villa Park, St James's
I wouldn't
Park.
even look at Old Trafford. Old Trafford's a dump.
Yeah, but it's got the capacity.
Alright,
That's what.
so-
I'm trying
Oh
to
yeah,
say.
it's got the numbers.
Alright,
but
alright,
the three stadiums you can mainly use
so
is City,
even
Tottenham,
in
Arsenal, and Wembley.
But even in London, you've got 4 stadiums already. No, 5.
Five.
They could add Twickenham to that if they wanted. If they asked them to.
West Ham
Wembley.
Stadium.
West Ham. So you got 5. You got 5 already ahead of Chelsea just in London alone. Right?
West Ham Stadium's better than ours, man.
We know Liverpool. We know Anfield's going to be added to it. Newcastle, Old Trafford if it's cleaned up. Probably.
Aston Villa.
And the City of
Old
City
Trafford
of
has
Manchester
big issues.
Stadium.
Though.
Probably Villa. So that's like 10. Then you've got like Ireland. So they've got Cork in there, something like that. Cork, whatever they're Irish from or something like that. So it's 11 stadiums that could be used. That can crack the top 10 at the moment. The way Stamford Bridge is done, it's just not feasible. You know.
It's a shame how small our stadium is since how big we are, but it is what it is, isn't it?
I mean,
That's what it is.
that's what we're hoping for, the owners to upgrade. So we'll see how this goes, but there is things happening. There are moves being made. I think that's more than I can say for what happened. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't on Roman. It was just, the government. I say our, it's not my government. The UK government preventing Roman from coming into the country, and that, I'm sure, stagnated a lot of things. But yeah, let's move on with the show and let's talk about our new sponsorship deals. Guys, I don't know if you've noticed, for the last 3 games we've had a front of shirt sponsor.
I don't have
It's
my
fantastic.
It's not magically came on. Shit.
Yeah, who would have thought? We got sponsored. It happened finally, and we never got to talk about it. So let's discuss it and let's get some details out here, and let's see who our future sponsors are going to be. So sponsorship deals. We're proud to announce an extended partnership with innovative sports technology company Infinite Athlete, who are our front of shirt sponsors for the season. And here's the advertiser for the Infinite Athlete sponsorship. You guys have seen it in front of the kits. It looks nice. I wish it was in gold for the home kit, but hey, you know what? I'm just glad we have a front of shirt sponsor.
That looks clean, though.
I know it does look nice.
I was gonna say before you go on to it, have we actually not lost a game when that?
No, we won all 3.
Look at us go,
Yes.
man. That's
Wasn't the first game.
Sponsorship
That's some
boost.
good luck system. Like that's some good luck to us, eh?
Wasn't the first game the
It
Brighton
is-
game, or it was either the Brighton or the Fulham
It
game?
was a Brighton game. Yep.
All Chelsea need to do is to play well, but just like have a sponsor on top of that shit, you know.
Exactly. So next tweet we have here is Chelsea will today announce front of shirt sponsorship with Infinite Athlete. This was the Brighton game. Final fee of £40 million until the end of the season, reduced slightly. From the 24 to 25 season, the possibility of partnership as a sleeve sponsor, and the players will wear new shirts against Fulham. So, in addition to selling sponsorship rights to the front of match shirts, Infinite Athlete brand will also appear on sleeves on the team's training kits. We move on. And Riyadh Air, you guys remember this hopefully. Chelsea have met with Saudi airline Riyadh Air over potential sponsorship opportunities. Then, no, nothing down here. Then Riyadh Air is not the only company in which negotiations are ongoing promotion. Riyadh Air is not the only company with which negotiations are ongoing. Promotions to the UCL will allow the club to sign a contract up to 50% higher than the partnership with Infinite Athlete. The club is expecting offers of £60 million a year to play in Champions League and £50 million to play in the Champions League and 50 million pounds. Okay, I understood that correctly.
That's fair. That's actually fair to do that.
If an agreement is signed with Riyadh Air, the existing global partnership with Oman Air will be terminated at no cost to the club. This result from the provisions contained in the contract. Oman Air is the latest Middle East airline to enter the EPL market. Interesting. So if we get Riyadh Air, we essentially no longer work with Oman Air. Interesting.
Well, at least it's at no cost to the club. That's the main thing.
Yeah, which is good. And then what is this? Actually, let me 1 second, guys. Okay, there's 2 more. Okay. Official Chelsea's partnership with Rexona, part of the Unilever family, which is also known as Sure Degree Shield across international markets, has been extended by a further 2 years. So I guess this is a type of sponsorship we have with them, I believe. And then moving forward
Not
here,
too sure.
we have one more. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Chelsea have continued talks with Saudi Arabian airline Riyadh Air over a potential £60 million a year furniture sponsorship deal from next season. Optimism remains over reaching a multi-year deal to cover men and women's team. So, guys, this is looking good. This is looking good. It looks like we're going to get a lot of money from our sponsorship deals, which is good. So, Chris, what are your thoughts?
I was gonna say that is crazy because like we've been shit for like almost two seasons. Like, well, yeah, we're not gonna have a great season this season probably. We had a bit of a shaky season. Last season we was like beyond awful. Like we're not in Champions League football. We're not even in any European football, and we got this deal. Like I don't know how like the owners did that because like I don't know how they like sold this club to like a sponsorship. Like you know put like 50-60 million on us like that. So yeah, I don't know how they did it, but it's good. I do like the look of the sponsor too, because like our last sponsor was awful looking. I hated it. It was a meme, and yeah, it became a meme straight away because we lost 3-0, and yeah, it just looked awful. I hated like buying that shirt with the sponsor with the number 3. I couldn't stand it. Like, but this new one, it looks clean, it looks nice, and we're getting good money.
And Chris, the way they left us they left us dry in the sanctions as well.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know,
but yeah, whatever. Like, I wasn't like too bothered about that. Like, that's what it is. Like, some do that. But yeah, like, we'll move on. I'm glad we've never seen that 3 logo ever again. It's hideous. It's our worst ever sponsor I've ever seen.
So, you asked how they're able to negotiate this deal. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
We're in the most watched league in the world.
Yeah.
It's advertising on that. That's it. Like when NBA teams when they sponsor the arena, even when they're not doing well, it doesn't matter. They're going to make loads of money because of the advertising for it. Because their name will be announced every time. We're playing at the Crypto.com arena or whatever it's called in LA. You know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. Your product is going to be on the shirts for every week for 9 months of the year. Do you know what I mean? So it's very easy.
I do hear
why
that.
someone would do that.
But what about like because we're raking in more money for our sponsors over like some big clubs this season who's in European football. So that's why I think it's quite impressive. Like I'm pretty sure we get bigger sponsor in Tottenham and Arsenal and same round as Liverpool.
Look who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the smaller clubs. They are smaller clubs.
Whatever you think about whatever you think about the owners and their thoughts on football, they are businessmen, right? They work hundreds of millions of dollars, billions a year. So, you know, they're used to negotiations. So.
Oh yeah, and I get that. Of course, like I'm not a businessman, so I don't know how like they pulled it off. That's what I was thinking. But I know like we are the most watched league. We're a big Premier League club. Like we're on TV a lot, of course, as well. Yeah, like so of course for that. But I'm pretty sure we're getting paid the same amount as Liverpool and stuff, and like more on Tottenham and same amount as Arsenal, or a bit more. I don't know.
I don't know the details of those deals personally.
I think Man United's the only club I've seen. I think who gets more than us. I don't know about Man City. They're a bit dodgy with their sponsors. So
they probably do. Yeah.
Right, but Man United. Why do you think Man United still get a sponsorship?
because one, they're in obviously. Well, actually, in all fairness, they have been struggling to get Champions League football, and two, it's Man United, like the biggest club, like the most well-known club in England, Navy as well, of course, and yeah, Premier League football.
People don't care. Companies don't care if you're struggling, like as long as you're getting relegated. But they don't care if you're like 7th, 8th, something like that, because your sponsorship, your name's going to be seen on the kit. They don't care.
But my point was, you're getting shown more of your European football. Like, you're getting shown on TV more. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're not getting shown on Champions
League. Yeah, but Manchester United have the biggest exposure in the Premier League.
That's just not true, Chris. The Premier League is the most watched league in the world. It's the most...
I know it is, but like, playing Champions League football, you're still having extra games on that sponsor on TV. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I know, but like, let me just put it like this. So, let me just put it like this, though. So, say you're an international fan. What are you more likely to watch? Are you more likely to watch Manchester United in the Premier League or Newcastle in the Champions League?
Oh, Man United in the Premier League, of course.
Exactly. That's the point.
Yes. Yeah. I know. I do. I'm not
the outreach of Manchester United in the Premier League alone is far greater than some teams that are in both the Premier League and the Champions League. That's just the nature of their brand and how big they've been over the years.
You're going to watch Burnley versus Chelsea or RB Leipzig versus Copenhagen. Who's going to get more viewers?
Chelsea versus Burnley, because we are like one of the most followed clubs in England.
Because the Premier League is the most watched league in the world.
I know it is. Yeah.
And a lot of these names already hold weight, Chris. So like that's why like when I tell people about my show, I say like, oh, I do a show about a team in the Premier League, and it's like, oh, I don't know what that is. And it's like, do you know Chelsea Football Club? And they're like, oh yeah, I know Chelsea Football Club. They know the club name more than they know the league itself. So it's just like the name stake, the legacy it has. United, Chelsea, Man City's getting there, right? Arsenal.
Don't talk about Tottenham, man. Like I saw American.
I wasn't gonna say Tottenham.
But
like these names have been known for a very, very long time. So it's like, yeah, the sponsorships are going to go there because there's legacy in the name. People know the name, just like people know the Nike logo. People know United, people know Chelsea. It's become a brand essentially, and it's become a really well-renowned brand all over the world. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that there are still going to be sponsorship interests because it's Chelsea, just because there'll be sponsorship interest for the Lakers because they're the Lakers, So it doesn't really surprise me too much. Anyways, let's go on to the next topic that we have here is we've had a few Chelsea departures. And you're probably asking, what do you mean Chelsea departures? Who's left the club? Not Enzo, right? Let's discuss some of the Chelsea departures that we've had amongst the staff. So first person in the list here is Bruno Salvatore. Remember that guy? We got a 1-1 draw with him. Or was it 1-1? It was 0-0.
It was 0-0.
0-0. All right. I won.
Shocking game.
But yeah. 0-0 draw.
Hey, Chris.
Chris. Damn it, Chris. Okay.
Yeah,
later, Chris.
Let us, mate.
Anyways, 0-0. This guy just went to go play FIFA. I know he did. So 0-0 draw against Liverpool. He had his one cameo, and he ended up leaving. So Chelsea, Bruno Salvatore secretly left Chelsea less than 4 months after being confirmed as part of Mauricio Pochettino's staff. Details of the departure not confirmed. Honestly, there's probably not much of this except the fact that he was part of Potter's staff and Potter's not there anymore. He probably had wanted to continue his contract, whatever it was, and he's no longer part of the club.
He is, though. He does go down as the only Chelsea manager.
The only Chelsea manager with what?
With a 100% win rate. Undefeated. Sorry, undefeated. No, my bad.
Undefeated. Got it. I didn't hear the undefeated part.
0% was 0% loss record. There we go.
Good for him.
Also,
yeah.
How is it secret if you're reporting it?
It must have happened under the radar, and now we're finally hearing about it. I don't know. I'm not surprised though. Like he was part of Potter's group. I'm surprised he didn't leave when Potter left.
This thing. I don't know why he was here in the first place. Like we should have gotten rid of all of Potter's staff when he left.
And to give context to this as well, all this news was coming out when before Chelsea were up against Brighton, before we got that win. So it just added on to the pile-on of disparity within the fan base. But let's move on to this next tweet. Claude Makelele has left his role at Chelsea as technical mentor, coming from Nathan Gissing. Then here we have Claude himself tweeting out, after 4 fulfilling years at Chelsea and after 4 fulfilling years, Chelsea and I decided by mutual consent that it's time for me to seek a fresh new challenge. I do want to thank the fans for their affection. Blue will always be the color in my heart. I'll share more once I set my mind on the next chapter. Share more? What do you mean by that? What is that supposed to mean? What else is there to share?
I think
that
means what he's doing next.
Okay. I thought he was gonna spill the tea. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Who knows? I hope not. We don't need any more tea spilling, please. This club's in shambles in itself, within itself, in the fan base as it is. So, but listen, technical mentor. Ali, I think you explained what the hell that was.
I mean, I don't know what the role fully entails, but I do know that I did read a while back that one of his responsibilities was he'd basically be the guy kind of checking in on all of the loanees, like kind of just seeing how they're doing and how they're feeling at their clubs. Basically, just sort of like basically sitting down with them and like evaluating stuff with them. So it wasn't like a major role. Like, it's something that it's important, but it's not like something that's going to change the face of the club by him leaving. So I bet a lot of people didn't know he was even at the club working with us until this news came out. So people are going to try and spin it as, the owner's trying to force the soul out of this club by getting rid of our greatest DM or whatever. Like, I don't care for that. No, you guys didn't know he was here until Nathan Gissing made that report. So It is what it is. And like I said, it's not going to change. It's not going to change the face of the club by him not being here anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it stinks that he can't be a part of the club. Just kind of like Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole parted ways with Chelsea as well. I just have like a soft spot for, well, except for Lampard, have a soft spot for when the Chelsea legends and the Chelsea greats come back and play a part in the organization.
No, it's nice, obviously, but like I'm just saying the role itself, or at least that part of the responsibility, isn't like major. It's not gonna affect how we perform and grow as a club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think. I think Eddie Newton used to do this job. I think, before Makelele, he was a former Chelsea player as well. So I don't know. Really, I mean, the way it sounded like you're just checking in on those out on loan, basically.
Essentially, yeah, that's what it sounds like. Metalface Doom, to answer your question, no, JT is no longer working at Cobham. He took up a remote job of scouting for the Saudi Arabian League, I believe. I think that was a thing, yeah. Saudi Pro Club. He took on a scouting position remotely for Saudi.
Yeah.
But I think that has to do with what's his name? Not Emery. Who was our previous director of football with Marina back when Emanalo, yeah, that has to do with
Emanalo is like he's more of an official in the league itself. He's not involved in a specific club. He's like a league official. Like, if he was in the Premier League, he'd be a Premier League.
Terry got the job.
Sounds like Terry's like a freelance scout, just cashing that check every 2 weeks.
I mean, he's got his foundation he wants to raise money for, I guess. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't know.
Of course.
I prefer. Yeah, we'll see.
He's doing it for
stuff like that.
He's doing it for the kids.
Maybe.
I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble.
Let's see.
How many zeros? How many zeros?
We will see. We shall see who is lying in the end, right? Isn't that the Fabrizio meme?
We will see who lied. Yeah.
Yes, we will see who lied. Let's go on to the next topic, which is let's get on to the players.
I'll slate JT as much as I want. All right, he's a great player, but absolute disgrace. So I'll
man,
say JT all that was.
hey man, he's our Chelsea legend, but there's plenty of things to slate him about. So let's go ahead and discuss not Chalobah. Sorry. Let's discuss Ian Maatsen's contract situation.
Yeah, you're
while I
pushing
go ahead
Chalobah to side like Chelsea Football Club here. Damn.
Let's discuss Ian Maatsen, because Ian
I'm
Maatsen's
gonna
had a
jump
little
back
bit
in
of
at the end. I think there's a delay.
go for it. Yeah. There is. Just me and you, Oliver. But let's discuss Ian Maatsen.
Let's go.
Okay? Ian Maatsen. All right, boy. My guy. All right. Ian Maatsen spoke to Chelsea in July and August, but there was no agreement over a new deal. That's why Chelsea were ready to sell him to Burnley, but he rejected it. Contract talks ongoing, but nothing has been decided yet, according to Fabrizio Romano a few weeks back. Then we have here, Ian Maatsen has rejected several contract offers from Chelsea, including one which was 6 + 1 year deal, according to The Athletic, confirming pretty much that, you know, there have been contract negotiations happening between Chelsea and him, but things have not been looking great so far. We have not come to an agreement. Chelsea are yet to make any progress on future of Ian Maatsen. Should there be no significant progress on his future before January, then Chelsea are likely to be forced into listening to more offers for Maatsen in the next transfer window, according to Matt Law. Following, we have, if it loads, there we go. Burnley are still keen on Ian Maatsen, even though he rejected a summer switch to the club. Listen, obviously, Burnley are going to be interested. They had him for a while. He did really well with them. Played as left back at Burnley, but I am really curious to see as to what exactly is going on and why exactly Ian Maatsen has not accepted any deals. My hunch is potentially that he wants a shorter term deal because he doesn't want to be locked down to the club. And in that case, like, look, I get that. I get it. I'm not going to, slate him for that. People will say that, oh, he doesn't want to sign because he doesn't play, but I feel like it'd be a little ridiculous for the club to bend the knee to a player that, to be fair, it should be an opportunity. It should be a blessing for you to be at Chelsea to begin with. So I find it a little absurd that we have to bend head over heel for a player. We're Chelsea Football Club. We're not, Accommodate FC. So listen, hopefully we find a good deal with him. We've come to an agreement because I think he's a good player. But at the same time, it has to be something that he wants. And if we can't find an agreement, then we have to sell him. This is just how it works. We're not going to let these players go on freeze anymore. It's not how Chelsea want to run.
I think Chelsea find themselves in a similar situation with Callum Hudson-Odoi in terms of, are they going to be? They put a contract on, but if he's not going to sign, they're more than willing to sell him. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they're attached to him that much. They're going to sell him. If he doesn't want to sign, he is getting minutes though. The guy I'd be worried about is Madueke. I'd be worried about Madueke. If I was in Madueke's shoes, I'd be worried at this time because right wing spot. Maatsen's getting even more minutes than me, than Madueke. Muduk's getting more minutes. Sterling's getting more minutes. But back to Maatsen. It's up to him. If he doesn't sign him, just sell him. I don't see the issue.
Reece James isn't getting sold anytime soon.
Reece James, Chilwell.
Gallagher's
not getting sold at the moment. Gallagher's not getting sold at the moment. I mean, this is just a myth. And by the way, this happened pre-2019. Fan base cared that common people were getting sold. Okay, they just don't. Okay, they just don't. So get over it. All right, they're not good. Most of these Cobham guys are not good enough. Okay, Cobham is a fantastic program of setting up people, whether it's in football, out of football, for the future, education and stuff like that. If they're not good enough, then they get sold, like every other team in this country. Okay, you only look at. I'll repeat it again because it's boring, but I'll repeat it. Look at every other big club. You get generation at every other big club. Between Steven Gerrard and Trent Alexander-Arnold, there was nothing coming out of Liverpool youth at all. Look at Man City. The only one that stands out properly is Phil Foden. Yeah? The others are getting by at the moment. Maybe a
Yeah, hopefully we got one in Palmer.
Maybe a Cole Palmer. Yeah, Manchester United. One between Rashford and the class. Rashford's the only one recently in the last 10 years that's come out.
They're running with McTominay now, and fair play. He scored on the weekend.
Spurs, Harry Kane, and Arsenal. It's only Saka. You can't count Martinelli because they bought him.
We have Reece James. We have our breakouts.
Yeah, we have Reece James.
This is the irony. This is the irony because Winter Surfer just mentioned how there's a massive chasm in between one great academy player and another academy player, and between that, there's been no real inclusion of academy players. But yet we have Reece James and Levi Colwill. We have far more than the rest. Yet we are the most criticised for our apparent lack of integration of these youth players. So that's the bit I don't understand. We are by far and away the best at doing that. Yet we are the most maligned.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't make sense to me, really.
First of all, Garnacho's not proved anything, and Greenwood is a scumbag.
Garnacho's from Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, Garnacho's from Atletico Madrid, and Greenwood's a scumbag. So, you know what I mean? I'm not associated, and no proper Man United fan would associate. You have to, as a Chelsea fan, you have to get over this. He's from Cobham, we shouldn't sell him. No, not everyone from Cobham's a diamond. Okay? Not everyone's Cobham's a diamond. Yeah. So just get over it. You know what I mean?
I think the main argument for me for keeping Maatsen and wanting to see him get opportunities in this team is just based on the situation we have at left back, where we're not sure about Cucurella. Chilwell just picked up another injury. It hasn't started the season well anyway, so he's looking like a real uncertainty. Colwill has had good games and bad games at left back. We'd prefer him to be at centre back. So. It's like in the short term, you'd probably prefer Maatsen maybe get a bit of an opportunity. Long term's another discussion. I mean, if you're asking me personally, for his own sake, he should probably leave the football club and go and get minutes in his primary position, because that's the weird thing. He can't even. Poch will play him anywhere but left back, and he might not like that. I don't know, but for his sake, he probably needs to go.
Yeah, I agree. I just think people just need to get off this whole thing. Is like, well, why did you want us to get Caicedo and Enzo then? Why didn't you want us to keep Gallagher in there and promote whatever? This is very strange. Why do you want us to get a striker in the summer? Why don't you just go with Broho and whoever? It's just bonkers.
I do find it odd. Right. I also find it odd that there's this weird romanticism about these Chelsea players that the fan base automatically assumed that all these Cobham players love the club. But you have to understand, there's a human aspect to this. I could say from my own personal experience with a few friends of mine that, locally here, we had the Red Bull Academy in Newark, New Jersey. Red Bull is a New York team based out of, Harrison, New Jersey. And we've had players that go to the academy there. I've had two friends of mine that went through the New York Red Bull Academy, and for them, it wasn't that they were fans of New York Red Bull that they joined. They just joined because it was an opportunity.
It's a stepping stone.
Local academy. It's a stepping stone into professional football, and for a lot of these players, it's the same exact thing. Not like
Harry Kane. Harry Kane was a Portsmouth fan. Harry Kane was literally in Hale End before he went to Tottenham. Just think about that. Harry Kane was at Arsenal. There's pictures of it.
Yeah. So it's some of these players, they're not I know the families like to think they're Cobham, they're proper Chelsea, they love the club.
Our most famous academy graduate ever, John Terry. His family are West Ham.
Yeah, and it's just goes to show
and he's
just
a
because they come to the academy. Ew, is he really?
John Terry's a Man United fan, yeah.
That's Snake. No wonder.
There's a famous urban legend. His dad didn't speak to him not for years, but he wanted him to sign for Man United. He had a conversation with Alex. So
yes, I'm from New Jersey.
It's like.
Tammy Abraham was Arsenal. Well, he was an Arsenal fan.
Mason Mount's a Pompey fan. You know what I mean? His dad's a Man United fan.
I'm not comparing. Yeah, I'm not comparing. I'm just saying
You hear New York Red Bull, you
listening.
didn't hear anything else that Marshall said. He compared us to New York Red Bull. I'm not going to hear anything else that Marshall says. In that
I'm just
sentence.
saying, like, some of these players go to the Cobham Academy because, this academy's nearby. I don't want to travel all the way to Manchester. I'm in London, whatever it is. And sometimes it's logistics. Sometimes it's the talent nearby. Sometimes if the Arsenal Academy is closer to me, I'll probably go to Arsenal. Or if I get into the Chelsea Academy, I'll go to Chelsea. Not necessarily me. I'm a Chelsea fan or an Arsenal fan. Like, it's just whatever opportunity. These players want to be professional players, whether it be for their favorite team or the team that takes them and gives them the opportunity to give them that route, which is what Cobham is. Cobham gives players the route, the building blocks to potentially become professional players.
Yeah, that's the problem. This fan base has like a revisionist history of Cobham, every few years. Between 98
We only
and
accept Chelsea
2009
fans to Cobham.
Yeah.
Not how it
Between
works.
98 and 2019, the only player to come out of our youth system established themselves was John Terry. There are little ones here and there, but they never established themselves. And then suddenly 2019 happened, and we got this infection of youth people.
Yeah.
And not all that good. No, not the actual youth products, the actual people
Yeah. I know what you mean.
backing the youth products.
Stop
Like thinking,
wording of it.
Cobham's
I mean, it is definitely an
they're
infection.
from Cobham.
You put that right there.
They're the greatest. They're from Cobham. They're the greatest. They're the greatest. They're all these Cobham guys, you know.
That transfer ban
got the
transformed
greatest
this
players.
club standards.
For the worse.
Transfer ban was one of the worst things that ever happened to this club.
Yeah.
One of the worst.
Well, that was the moment we became, well, most of this fan base became tolerant of work rate and nothing else.
True.
Road running. Oh god.
But listen, we'll see what happens with Maatsen. I do hope he signs the contract because I think there is a good player there. But at the end of the day, he didn't come to Cobham because he was a Chelsea fan. He came to Cobham because he had an opportunity to have a career in football. And maybe he's falling in love with the club as a result of being at Cobham. That's very possible. I don't doubt that Mason Mount fell in love with Chelsea as a result of being part of the Cobham project. But at the end of the day, when United knocked on the door, he answered. And so with Maatsen, if another club comes knocking and he likes that club, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes. That's probably why he doesn't want to do
Marshall,
the 6+1.
The only thing I'll say is that Maatsen did reject opportunities to leave. So I think it's somewhere in the middle. It's not like he's looking for an out. You know, he wants to stay, but on his terms.
This is my conspiracy. I think he wants to stay at Chelsea, but he wants to give himself the ability to exit if he needs to.
Yeah.
Maybe because he wants to see his career go somewhere else. Maybe Real Madrid. He is Danish. Not Danish. He's Dutch.
He's Dutch.
So I don't know. Ajax. Does he want to go to Ajax? I don't think he wants to play at Ajax. But point being is,
we got him from PSV's academy. I think he came from PSV to Cobham. I think.
So it's one of those things that, like, we'll see. Like, maybe he wants to give himself the ability to go to another club down the future when he hits his prime.
It might even be simple. It might even be simpler than that, though. He might just not want to waste a year of his career like Chalobah did, and now the writing's on the wall that he has to leave after he signed a 6-year contract. You know, football is a short career, so every year counts.
Go for it.
Let me ask you a question. Say Man City don't win the league this year, right? Do you think any Man City fan is going to pinpoint the sale of Cole Palmer and go, man, if we hadn't sold Cole Palmer, we would have won this league, no problem, right?
No.
Any right-minded City fan? No.
They're going to look at De Bruyne and Rodri and all that. No.
There is no youth product. Before anyone says anything, Salah and Kevin De Bruyne do not count as youth products.
I feel like people unconsciously include them.
Yeah.
There's no one that's ever passed through Cobham's doors I have regretted ever selling. There's none. There's none whatsoever. I regret selling Tomori. I really don't. We haven't done that. We haven't done.
If anything, our defence improved since he left.
Exactly. I don't. Honestly, there's no Cobham product that's been sold where I've gone, man, we really need him right now. Yes, exactly. Exactly, yeah. They're going to look at Lavia and go, damn, we sold Lavia 2 years ago. I wish we had him now. I know, yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing.
They sold their goalkeeper to Burnley.
Newski. But here's the thing. This is what Oliver was saying before. Like, yes, maybe it's because he doesn't see a certainty in his future and all that stuff, which, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But you can also put the counter argument is that, like, okay, the ownership are saying, please, this player needs to sign a contract. If he doesn't sign, we don't want him to play. Using whatever cards you can in your advantage to force this player to sign a contract, which it does happen. Like, you know, like it stinks to hear it, but that is part of the business. We saw it happen with Mason Mount, for example, last season to a certain extent. Not to mention he was also dropping stinkers, but the contract negotiations were not helping. So when it comes to contract negotiations, you know, it's a delicate situation of playtime versus you'll get playtime if you sign the contract. Go ahead.
I would advise everyone right now to give up the ghost of Poch ever playing this guy left back.
Oh yeah, for sure. If it's not obvious already, even in preseason.
If it's not obvious already that even we're playing Chilwell at left back, and even during the League Cup game, we played Cucurella at left back or Chilwell at left back. This guy's never played left back under Poch. He just doesn't see him as a left back. If he signs the contract, he signs the contract. If he doesn't sign the contract.
And Angelo, I think that there was even a quote, I think, from Poch where he was talking about our left back options, and he actually didn't even mention him. So that just only furthers the point.
Here's an idea, right? Here's an idea. Metal Face Doom, what wages at this point in his career do you think Maatsen deserves? Wages? Well, I want to ask you this. Maatsen, who had one good season at Burnley, what do you think? Yeah. What do you think? What do you mean by shit wages? And also, just to let you know, during these death row contracts that people call about, it doesn't mean you can't still negotiate a higher wage during this contract time. And also, it's probably incentivized as well. So I would like you to tell me what you think Maatsen deserves on weekly right now in his career for what he's done. Let me know. 50. You think you're 50? Fine. That's it. But do you actually know what wages he's being offered?
That's not been revealed yet, no.
No one said that, and no one's even talked about it. He's worried about the length of contract. Does
anyone
what playing time he's going to get?
Does anyone even know what he's on right now?
And that's sensible. I don't even know what he's on right now. I don't know. It can't be that.
No
high
idea.
For him.
Probably not.
20 or something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's again when a player's that young, he hasn't been proven. You just gotta take it slowly. You gotta find out. Obviously, I think there's two sides of the story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. And I think what it is what's similar to what Oliver said. The player wants playtime. He wants assurances. Unlike Trevor Chalobah, where it seems Trevor Chalobah is just. It seems the club don't want him at all. Whereas in this one, it seems like the club do want him, which is why they've offered him contracts. But then again, I keep saying that, but I catch myself because these contracts that they offer these players don't matter because at the end of the day, they could still get sold.
And Marshall, yeah, that's the thing. We were literally here with Chalobah about a year ago, almost to the day. So it's like, where has that gone wrong? And is there any guarantee that doesn't happen to Maatsen as well? That's what he'll be thinking about.
Yeah. So he's on anywhere between 11 to 15 grand a week, right? I mean, even if you double it or triple it, it's still going to be under 50, which I think is fine for a guy who's just starting out.
That's his academy contract, right? Can't be his pro contract.
It can't be. Yeah, exactly. So I just,
we'll see what happens. I hope he does sign a contract. I do rate the player. I do like him. We see what kind of an impact he makes when he comes off the bench. But he has to sort it out. And again, I'm not offended that he hasn't said yes already. I don't expect him to come into this. I don't expect any prospect from Cobham to automatically be a Chelsea fan and automatically just bend over for anything that Chelsea want to give them. And I also don't expect the club to bend head over heels for a player. who hasn't really proven himself. You know.
You know what? Why would it be a bad contract, Melfiston? You don't even know what the contract is. Why is it a bad contract for it? I'll say this. When someone says that this guy's a player of this club they're going to, I automatically dislike that player. Because to me, it just doesn't matter if they're a fan of it or not. This is a job to these players. Okay?
Yeah.
It's a job. I don't care if you're a Chelsea fan. I really couldn't care. If you love the club after spending so much time in it, fine, absolutely fine. I just don't care.
John Terry literally used Manchester City to leverage us in 2010, didn't he?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. The greatest of the greats used votes. Use Man City interest to leverage a bigger contract. So don't give me he loves the club, because if we didn't match it, he would have gone to City. So don't give me all that shit. And Didier Drogba wanted out loads of summers. Literally every summer he wanted out. You know what I mean? So all this he loves the club. I don't care. As any rational, normal person in the job do, you love yourself first and you love your wallet second. You know what I mean?
And that's fine.
First, and that's what you should do. And, you know.
There's no problem with that. That's the thing. Like people need to get, people need to understand that, they're all in it for themselves. It's their job. It's their livelihood. That there's honestly no problem with them looking after themselves.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I just you have no idea what contract Maatsen's being offered, and the reports coming out. It's nothing to do with the length of contract or the wage. It's how many, where he's going to play and how many minutes he's going to get, and that's fair. That is fair for him to think about. Very fair.
And that's kind of essentially what we went through with Chilwell as well. Apparently the rumor was Chilwell wanted guaranteed minutes or guaranteed plan, a guaranteed plan that he was going to be used. So,
yeah.
Listen, this is just part of the negotiations. We'll see what happens. I hope we does sign, and I hope we come into an agreement because I think he's a good player. On the other hand, there is another player that isn't rated by the club who looks unfortunately, it does make me sad because I do like the player as well, but he's just surplus to requirements. Chalobah, we got some updates. We got a small update on Chalobah, but it seems very confirmed that this kid's on his way out in January, and he was almost on his way out in the summer transfer window, but we ran out of loans. So the expectation is clear from Chelsea and the player. Trevor Chalobah will leave in January. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. This is as clear and as confirmed as it can get. Also, on the topic of Chalobah, other news as well. I don't know if you guys remember, this did happen some time ago. Trevor Chalobah's personal trainer will never be allowed back inside Chelsea after his private messages about the injury crisis were leaked online.
I will say, though, that Chalobah did come out with a tweet and actually say that wasn't his personal trainer. Yes, that's the one. Yep. Got it queued up. There we go, man.
Yep. Listen, man.
You know what?
Been doing this for 3 years.
Whoever that was.
Yes.
Whoever that was, he's right. They shouldn't be allowed back.
True. I mean, to be fair, listen, us as fans enjoy the leaks, right? But anyone who is leaking any information that is not supposed to be leaking, I'm sure there is a NDL, NDA rather. I'm sorry, NDL is a license. NDA, right? About releasing information about the club at in the best.
Unless you're a Manchester United player.
So it's like
leak central, man. Oh god.
Obviously we can't have this kind of stuff happening. So yeah, it makes sense that this person is no longer allowed back at the training ground and all that stuff, or back at Chelsea in general. But Trevor Chalobah leaving. I mean, we already kind of saw this coming. Now it seems more and more confirmed that it is going to happen. It is a little bittersweet. Not even bitter. It's not even sweet, really. It's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. But listen, Axel Disasi came in. He's been doing fantastic in that position, despite what a lot of Chelsea fans think. They just want to make fun of him because of just the first game with his first 1v1, his first mistake, second game, yes, exactly. With Mikel Antonio and the goal he conceded there. But like people just want to have an agenda, maybe because he looks different or goofy. I don't know. He's a huge guy. I don't know, something about he looks like he has a bozo moment in him, but I haven't seen it. I haven't really seen much of it. He's been very solid. He's been proving me wrong in that aspect. But again, like there's something about the Chelsea fan base. They have an agenda against him, right?
Yeah.
But he's been performing well. We have Fofana that's going to come back, who we know is a good defender. It's a matter of whether or not he can be fit. We have Badiashile as a defender, Levi Colwill, Thiago Silva. We have a lot of defenders in front of this kid. And he's a hardworking, working kid. He wants to succeed at Chelsea. But it's just, I guess, not good enough. I don't know. Free money as well.
I don't understand it. I don't understand. I don't understand this fan base like on guys so quickly when they first join. You know what I mean? It's like Enzo's getting this treatment as well, which is mad.
That one's bizarre. Yeah,
absolutely bonkers. Disasi's been one. Disasi's probably been our best defender this season. I think he's carried Thiago Silva.
This is a good point, Newski. This might be why. Could be a reason why.
Yeah,
but listen, it's like I said in the review yesterday though. It's like, did Disasi decide to replace Chalobah and like how are we linking the two? Like Disasi has no part in that. He hasn't maliciously gone in there to replace Trevor Chalobah. Like we said before, he's looking out for his own career. He's joined a big club and he's doing his best now and he's getting opportunities. Like they are not linked whatsoever. One does not impact the other directly, like in that way.
Let me just address Metal Face Doom for the previous thing. Like they was claiming to be Trevor Chalobah's personal trainer, okay? Which means he has nothing to do with the club whatsoever. He has no idea what they're doing. And he's got an outside view on things, okay? I know you don't like this ownership, but use your brains and not believe everything that is against this ownership or anything like that just because you don't like them, okay? He has no idea what they're doing there. He's just seeing it as an outsider. It'd be like you or me walking by and seeing that. And this guy's not even a personal trainer of Chalobah, okay? He probably wasn't invited to get something out of the blue that he's not used to because he probably doesn't even work at a football club. So just actually open your ears and your mind that not everything this ownership does is a bad thing. Okay? Sorry, let's move on.
But yeah, we'll see what club he goes to. I hope he goes to a good club. I hope we can get a good fee for him because he is on that long, prison contract.
But at the same time, though, it's pretty clear where he stands in Chelsea, and that will affect his market value. Clubs will not, they will not throw the bank at him because he's on a long contract. It's clear that the club don't want him, and the fact that he's undesirable and surplus to requirements, that will lower his transfer value.
Yeah.
No,
but
I think someone put it.
Juco wanted him.
I think the sole reason is because he's replaced Chalobah. Honestly, think that's the sole reason.
Yeah.
I think it's more match. I think it's more match as well because they don't. I have to argue with Fat all the time. He doesn't see everything that we do when we're watching on TV. We see more than the guys that go to match days do. I don't think that's nice, God of Frogs, but unless something really.
I can see it happening, though, Andrew.
I don't know. The thing
I can see it happening solely because he did get that captain's armbands in the preseason.
Who drops out, though?
Maybe there is some respect.
Who drops out?
Or even maybe Silva.
But we'll have Badiashile. What about when Badiashile comes back, though?
Badiashile hasn't trained under Poch, so who knows? Maybe that relationship isn't there. That trust.
He has trained under Poch. He's trained under him. He's just not ready yet. That's the thing. So
yeah.
Badiashile, but Badiashile's ahead of him. Or we know he's ahead of him. I think we know he's ahead.
He's just a better player. Yeah, already. Nothing wrong with that.
Sassy said, and the thing is this: you get Badiashile back, it automatically means that you can put Thiago Silva back on the right or to battle with the Sassy, which means that then Chalobah becomes third choice behind those two. Do you know what I mean? You get Gusto and James back, So that's the right back sorted out, right? It's only really a left back, and I can never see Chalobah being used at left back. So
We've already got a centre back at left back.
Yes. Right. So it's like, where does he fit? It's a shame because I like the guy. It's like, this is the whole thing about signing the long-term contracts is to protect the player and the club at the same time, right? So it's to protect the player because they want to feel settled and secure. It's also to protect the club if somehow during the contract they change their minds and they want to sell the guy. You know, it's just one of those things. If he goes, he goes. I'm sure he'll do well. I'm sure he'll do well elsewhere. He seems like a very humble guy, given his upbringing, his background. Because I think he's a Jehovah's Witness or something like that, or his parents are anyway. But he won't I don't think he'll leave and badmouth the club or anything like that.
No, I don't think so.
But I wish him well when he goes. I think he will go because we've got Silva to come back, something like that. So they want to add that going. So he becomes like fourth choice, and he just
kind of a messy situation.
I was happy before he signed to Sassy. I was happy for Chalobah to be part of the squad, no problem. But
yeah,
I just don't see him fitting anywhere. I really don't.
Well, we'll see because Poch does strike me as the type of manager that will favor players he trusts more than players who we know are probably technically better. So I could see Chalobah coming into the squad in some shape or form, even as a substitute. We'll see. There could be room in the squad for Chalobah. I'm not saying going forward into the season. I still think January is going to go. I could see Poch playing Chalobah from time to time into his first team. We'll see. He has to be fit. That's the thing. It's not helping him that he got injured in the preseason. He hasn't been back since. He hasn't been seen since. And in that meanwhile, and I can say this now with more confidence, I can see that Disasi is a better center back or right center back than Chalobah. In the beginning, we were saying, oh, they're kind of the same. I think now it's pretty clear to see that.
Based on what, though?
What do you mean based on what?
The people that were saying that, what were they saying that based on? Because I bet you a lot of those people had never watched a single game of Axel Disasi.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I think based off the first 2 games that they saw Disasi play in, the West Ham game where he conceded to Antonio, and then the game prior to that where he almost was it Salah, right? He almost let Salah scored, or he was part of that Diaz Salah error, essentially, quote unquote. I think they saw that and they're like, "Oh, I could see how he's good, but he has errors in him, just like."
But you're going off 2 games. If we're judging based off 2 games, then Caicedo would be a flop. But Caicedo's been fantastic in the last few games.
Yeah, which is why right now 8 games, 9, 10 games so far we've seen this season, and most of them had the sassy in him. I can see he's a lot more consistent than Chalobah. I feel like Chalobah had an error in him every game, but he was still make up for it. He would have coverage,
The thing is, though, was like we're only playing once a week. With that, it's more bonding when Poch is going to pick the guy. Or if you're out injured, unless it's a specialised area like a right back or something like that, then he's going to really stick with those that have been around for a lot more of his time here in terms of playing wise. So to me, that would mean Chalobah goes further down. Not sure. I'd say, yeah, okay, sure. That's just an agenda right there. But yeah, I would not say that. It's just this, isn't it? Just this. It's just
we know.
Anyway.
We know.
I'm ready when the FA Cup really kicks in. You know what I mean? So it's like, if the Sassy stays fit, then the Sassy's going to be your number 1, really.
Yeah.
And if Badiashile asserts himself, then you've got even Thiago Silva as backup. To that right centre back role. So it's like, where does he fit?
That's one player. Badiashile, that's one player.
But even if Offer comes in, it's a loan, but in the summer it's like a permanent deal of like 45, 50 million or something like that, then I think they'll take it. I really do. Because looking at business-wise, he becomes pure profit in the books. So
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't think that. Like I said, I just don't think they've done themselves any favors with the amount of information that's leaked out of the club in terms of like they are literally pushing for him to leave. Like that, just no serious bidder is going to look at that and throw the bank at us in order to get him.
God of Frogs. Caicedo literally dominated that midfield the second half.
I just want to say, I just want to say quickly to God of Frogs because I know he's obviously been on this thing where like Gallagher's been more consistent than Caicedo. I just want to say
Fulham as well.
I just want to say quickly though, Gallagher got the assist for Sterling. Who won the ball back and passed it to him to get that assist? Who was it?
Football gods. That's what happened. It was the football gods that the ball landed in front of Gallagher, and Gallagher assisted Sterling for that. We'll see. I mean, listen, like agendas will fall apart. Agendas will come together, and things will happen.
I don't care, man. Like I don't care, man. Like Gallagher and Caicedo are fine right now. Like they're not a detriment to our team, or in 99%, Gallagher's been decent ever since he got moved further forward and out of that deep role. Caicedo's been getting confidence ever since he's obviously gotten over the two poor games that he had. So let's just roll with it. There's no need to nitpick here.
Speaking of rolling with it, and speaking of a Gallagher, let's roll into this next topic, which is the future of Gallagher. So let's. I'm gonna show the tweets and let's discuss, because I think Gallagher has been turning a lot of heads within the Chelsea fan base and within even this panel, I would say. So going here, PYS tweeting Noah Robinson. Pochettino has said he prefers Gallagher than Enzo as a captain, as Gallagher can communicate in English. Enzo is not ready to be captain as he does not speak the language, which, listen, I'm sure that's a big part of it. He's also... I know people want to say Thiago Silva's the leader, though. He doesn't speak English, but Thiago Silva has experience and age on his side. I mean, he already knows how to communicate with people in that level. And through example, I think Enzo still needs some time.
Marshall, the only thing I'd say to this is that Raheem Sterling has both.
Yeah.
And he's not. Yeah, he's clearly not in contention for whatever reason.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's an interesting point you bring up for sure. He should be in contention. Then we also have here Chelsea are preparing to sit down with Conor Gallagher to discuss what is best for all parties over his future as he heads towards the final 18 months of his existing deal. The club are happy with Gallagher. This is from Adrian J. Kajumba. This is a different tune than what we were hearing in the summer. In the summer, it seemed that Chelsea, the ownership, were dead set on this player leaving. Pochettino didn't want him to leave. I think a lot of that is because Pochettino wanted to keep Mason Mount. And since he didn't keep Mason Mount, since that didn't work out, Conor Gallagher was the next best thing you can think of. He wanted that hard work.
I wouldn't say that the ownership were dead set on him leaving. They said that they had a price for him, which was £50 million, and they would only sell him if that price was met. It's not the same thing as Trevor Chalobah, where they were trying to find every single avenue possible in order to move the guy on. I think it's completely different.
There were bids and stuff towards the end.
But we had a price, and that price was not met.
But what you know what I'm trying to say? It wasn't the same exact attitude. Like, we had a price for Levi Colwill. There was no price for Levi Colwill. There was a price for Conor Gallagher. So there was room for Conor Gallagher to leave. But
there's a difference there, because Levi Colwill was deemed unsellable. He was not on the market at all. He was untouchable. That's the word they used.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, now. Well, I guess let me ask you guys this. Now, do you guys think? Because I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it honest. I am going to be rational on this. Conor Gallagher last year, I could care less about. I thought he was one of the worst players on the pitch. This year, under Poch, he has turned into a player that I did not foresee coming. He has turned into, now I'm seeing more and more where Tuchel was talking about when he said he saw N'Golo Kante-esque style in him, which I know is I know it's pushing it. I know it's pushing it. I know. Just try not to melt.
A very particular element of N'Golo Kante's game, not the whole package.
Yeah, I know, not the whole package. Obviously, you can see the tackling, the interception, that kind of stuff. It's not to the same level, obviously. I'm not trying to say it is. But I will say, I don't think he's been holding Chelsea back in a sense of we're losing games because of him. We can't win because of him. Unlike Mason Mount, the last 2 seasons, I feel like with Gallagher, we could compete. I think he has improved.
Okay. I need to shut this down right now. I just need to shut this whole thing down right now. Okay? Conor Gallagher is a decent squad. I actually thought on Saturday against Burnley, he actually, don't let the assist fool you. He had a bang average game. He had a bang average game, and he stopped most of our attacks in that forward position. If I'm looking at the midfield options, once you get Lavia back, everyone fit. For me, he doesn't get ahead of Enzo, Caicedo, Lavia, and possibly even Ugo Chukwu.
Well, how can you say Lavia though? Because we haven't even seen Lavia play yet, Andrew.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Lavia fundamentally right now has all the attributes I've seen in his game to be is better than Gallagher right now.
Sure, and I don't disagree with
that. Gallagher doesn't have that. Okay, he just doesn't have that for me. And also, I don't think he can do a defensive job like Lavia can. I will say this. No, Gallagher on Burnley was. It was just Fulham. He was at Burnley, much better. I will say this, and then you look at number 10. I prefer more of a physical number 10. So I think Chukwuemeka, and when I say this, I think Cole Palmer's a physical guy. You know, he doesn't look like it, but he's hard to knock off the ball. And then Cuckoo drops into number 10 as well. So I honestly think, and Poch wants to welcome. I don't think Poch minds. You know, there's reports coming out that Poch. You know, if whoever's there is their player really. I don't think he'll die on the island of the Conor Gallagher. Yeah. You think yes, but doesn't mean it would be the case. I don't know what I mean. It must be.
In reference to Lavia being better.
Oh, I just think he is already. Gallagher is a guy who, if you give him simple instructions, is an okay player. If you ask him to do anything more, and this whole thing about he does well further forward. But to me, that's out of your space and just pushing him along down the road and being someone else's problem. Do you know what I mean? I just think, to me, I don't see how we progress with Conor Gallagher constantly in this team.
But here's the thing about Gallagher for me, right? And going off of this comment that Newski's saying, Gallagher was so bad last season, people wondered how he was a good footballer or a footballer in general. Anything Gallagher does does not feel great, but it's the bar was subconsciously super abysmal. It's not even that he looks so bad. What's impressing me, because like any player, right, is going to have standout games. We saw how bad Mason Mount was last season, but he had great performance from Milan and Aston Villa. He had great performances. That's not the case with Gallagher. With Gallagher, what I'm noticing, what I'm picking up on is that it seems that every game that he's been playing so far, he slightly improves more and more from the last game. And it's like this trajectory hasn't stagnated yet. I haven't seen it stagnate. Yes, the last game against Burnley, it wasn't so good. I mean, most of the team wasn't that great anyways. Second half, he picked it up a little bit more. He wasn't anything man of the match or anything, but he's been improving. And that, I think, is a impressive trait to have as a player who, again, is that young and who, I mean, if he does get sold, I hope he gets sold for a good amount of money because I think he's becoming a really good player and he's been looking really good. And any team that wants him, I hope Chelsea can negotiate a good price, because even if he's not good, he's looked really good.
You see, for me, Gallagher's had only really 2 decent games this season. That was against Fulham and against Bournemouth. The rest he's been bang average. All this in the chat, always been my most consistent midfielder. I don't know.
Would you not even argue against Liverpool, Andrew?
What, like, that he hasn't tripped over the ball or something? What does that mean? That's what I mean. It's like you guys like have a go at Caicedo and Enzo, fine. Well, some of Enzo's been better, and he should be anyway. But it's been better than Gallagher in most games this season. He hasn't been good every game, but he's been better in more games this season. What I'm saying is this: Gallagher is vanilla. Gallagher is a middle of the road vanilla. That's what he is. He's not. He doesn't do anything. He's he's Scott McTominay without the goals. Do you know what I mean?
I don't even know about that. I think he's been better than Scott McTominay.
I will do this again. I did it with Kai Havertz. I did it with Mount. Name me three attributes he consistently does well in game after game after game
on the ball. Yeah, I understand. But even like on the ball.
You can't even do
Wait. All right, hold on. I will say, like, this isn't consistent, but I have seen him improve progressing the ball forward into attacking areas, and I have seen him improve with his decision making going forward. We're starting to see it more, so it's like I'm willing to be patient with Gallagher to see where this player could end up. I'm not gonna, be upset if he gets sold, but I'm just saying now, like, okay, I'm starting to see that Pochettino is getting something out of this kid where I expected nothing out of him. I expected him to be a waste of space. I was excited you guys know, I was excited. I wanted Gallagher to go for the 50 mil. That's a steal. But now I'm thinking, like, he's actually been pretty decent. Like, no. He's not better than Jude Bellingham. I'm not going to get ahead of myself.
Oh my word.
Calm down. Calm down.
So he did the smiley emoji.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I'm not saying that either, okay? But he's been improving, which I like. I like that he's been improving.
This is the thing. God of Frogs has put about 5 things that are all off the ball, and then one, like, winning the ball back. I don't think he's been good winning the ball back at all. I don't know what is. This is the whole thing. You going about you go. This is the whole thing. You have a go at Caicedo, you have a go, and that's fine. But this guy does a little pass 5 yards or tackles, and suddenly he's been the most consistent midfielder this season. No, he's not. He's bang average, okay? And I think just because he hasn't been directly involved in a goal, I think some of his stuff has actually led to mistakes elsewhere.
He just got an assist yesterday.
CWP. The thing is, you remember, you guys remember in the Bournemouth game where he missed 2 chances that Mudryk created.
Yeah.
There you go.
I get it. I'm not denying that. But when we think about it, earlier in the season or even last season, you would never think about Gallagher doing that pass that he did that little chip pass that he did to Raheem Sterling that Raheem Sterling missed.
No, surely not.
We would never think that. We would never think that Gallagher would ever do that.
We had a go at Caicedo.
Yeah.
Hang on.
No, I get it. The Caicedo thing is ridiculous. Yeah.
We had a go at Caicedo. Don't even try that God of Frogs. We had a go at Caicedo. Don't even go at that. He had his part to play. We had a go at him for the West Ham because that was all a part in that goal against
He wasn't
Forest.
good those games.
So
we know.
others as well. And also, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You know what Metalface did? You're right. He's got 1 more assist than Enzo. You know what? How many goals has he got? Because Enzo's got 1. So there we go, right? So we're 1 each, right? Is that what we're going to do here? And by the way, do you expect Gallagher to get assists? I don't. I don't expect Enzo to get a lot of assists either because you guys keep misprofiling Enzo with the type of player he is. He's the pass before the pass player. Okay? He plays in a pivot. You know what I mean?
It's not even that. We just have different opinions. I'm disagreeing with Andrew and Oliver here. I'm kind of agreeing with you guys. You guys are just pushing it a little too far. But
I would admit, I do expect assists from Enzo.
But you got the winner.
Yeah, I do expect assists from Enzo, but I'm equally privy to the fact that an assist depends on the finishing ability of the man getting the chance. And that ability has not been there for a very long time. For the majority of the time Enzo has been
You know what? It was an open goal. It was an open goal, but if he missed it, metal face, then you've had a go at him. So you can't have it both.
True.
This is the whole point you get. It's like, sorry, can I have an order to move the goalpost, please? I just want to do this right now in this chat. So it's like that.
I will also say EPL
Yeah.
turf.
Yeah.
What does help Gallagher's case with the Chelsea fan base is the fact that he genuinely does seem like he likes Chelsea. He genuinely is a Chelsea fan. His father's a Chelsea fan. He does want it to work out at Chelsea, which I think I think all of us here can admit that we admire and respect that about him. It's just if he's good enough is the question.
Oh yeah. What about his game against Brighton in the League Cup? Oh my God, his performance against Brighton in the League Cup, Gallagher. Oh my God, that was atrocious. His performance, kept giving away the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, he was crap.
But this is what I mean. Like,
And
players are going to have ups and downs. I just mean overall,
That's
this
what I mean.
player has improved since last season.
I think they get. Listen, I think if who was it? West Ham. I think West Ham would have been if they'd been 45, we would have sold him. And he's doing well. He's doing wellish. But let's not overblow he's like sensational or something like that.
No, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think he's sensational, but what has been really impressive to me is how he's been improving game after game. Yes, he's not going to have the best game every time. He's not going to be 7.1, 7.2. It's not going to be like an incremental increase every game. He's going to have some downs as well. But I think Poch is getting something out of this. He's playing inconsistently, so obviously Poch trusts him. I do see a future where Gallagher does stay until the summer. And then we'll reassess in the summer what happens to Conor Gallagher.
Well, we need to come to an alignment on this because Poch clearly likes this guy. He's made him a captain. He started him in every single game.
Listen, I tolerate him more than Mason Mount last season.
You could, that's a horrendously low bar. But anyway, it really is. I mean, did you see that Cole Palmer has already matched Mason Mount's big chances created from last season?
Remember.
But there you go. But anyway, we just need to come to a consensus over this as a club because Poch clearly likes this player and has made him a captain and has started him in almost every single game in this season. Whereas you've got the board that feel like his best value is monetary. That they need to just come to a consensus there and agree to either sell him or keep him. We need to be aligned on that. And whatever happens, I don't mind as long as he performs on the pitch. That's all I care about. If he commits to this club,
I still my channel. I can't suspend him at all. I know what's saying.
What the fuck? EPL turf. Whose channel do you think this is, bro?
Go the Frogs. He may only play 21 minutes, but that's how bad he was that he stood out playing shit for 21 minutes.
Wasn't that great?
That's how bad he was. So,
but again, I don't expect him to be, good every game or decent every game. It's just, again, it's one of those things that I'm seeing improvement in the player. He already put it on a man of the match performance, which no one expects Gallagher to put on a man of the match performance. I think slowly but surely.
When was he man of the match?
Fulham.
You see, I
he was
disagree with
fantastic
that.
against Fulham.
No, I don't doubt that. I thought everyone was, but I don't think he was man of the match. I thought Enzo was better. I thought Caicedo was better in that.
Caicedo maybe, but I don't know about Enzo.
I thought Disassi was better in that as well. That's what I mean. It's like.
I don't know about that one either.
The thing is this. Just generally, people are back Canada. What do they think this player's going to turn out to be? Seeing as he's now, 23, 24?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
I think 23.
22, I think.
No, not 22.
What discernible things stand out about Gallagher that would make you, if you bought a football club, right, that would make you buy Gallagher? What's discernible that stands out ahead of everyone else that would make you buy him?
Well, I just think that what's been really impressive, this is the thing that I've seen from Gallagher, right? Last season, this guy was a fucking bulldog. Absolutely no control towards his tackling, was fouling players left and right. If we got Gallagher from last season, this season, this guy would have gotten suspended twice already, okay? That's how bad he was. Now it seems like he's had more control, and he's been really good at dispossessing the opposition team. He's been effective in that. Which, listen, like it or not, like it or not, one of the best aspects that Tuchel brought out of this team when we won the Champions League was that gegenpress. Because of the effectiveness of N'Golo Kante, Mason Mount, Timo, or whoever, the press to dispossess the other teams, and it is a good quality to have. I'm just saying,
Okay, but
it's been better this season.
Bring
And it is
Benjamin's
impressive.
last comment up. Bring Benjamin's last comment up, please. If Carney's fully fit, should Gallagher get him this side?
No, but this is what I mean. Remember how yesterday we were discussing how this is going to be a selection headache for Poch? What I mean is, like, okay, obviously, when it comes to fluid football and attacking football, I am going to want Carney at a number 10 position over Gallagher because Carney has a lot more offensive awareness, a lot more offensive vision to connect the plays and have chemistry with the players in the attack. Obviously, hands down, we know that, okay? But if we're playing a team, for example, that likes to keep possession from the back, doesn't like to do the high, maybe has a high line, maybe a player like Conor Gallagher is more effective in the 10 than a Carney. Someone that can dispossess the ball up high. We have someone like Nicholas Jackson as well that can do that. You know, the combination of Nicholas Jackson, Caicedo, and Gallagher that can provide that kind of a gegenpress, it could be effective. That's what I mean. It's like, it's going to be tactical picking.
These are the kind of decisions we have to make because that's not how Poch has been using. He hasn't been using Gallagher as a situational player. He's been a bona fide starter this season.
I think that's because of the injuries, though. I think if we have a fit Carney, I'd be really, really surprised if Poch doesn't start Carney.
You could argue it's because of you could argue it's because of injuries. I would like to see what happens in the games after the international break because, like you said, there is a selection headache, particularly in that attack where Mudryk had built a head of steam, and granted he had to be rested because of the knock that he picked up in the Fulham game. Fair enough. Sterling had the best individual performance of any Chelsea player this season in the last game against Burnley. Cole Palmer. You could argue, especially in the attack. Now it's in the attack. It's inarguable.
The God of Frogs is saying here.
Sorry.
Nothing offensively. I mean, Conte had good dribbling ability.
Now,
nothing after that though.
I will allow you, God of Frogs, to take and delete this comment before your own good, before I eviscerate Perry. Conor Gallagher to Kante.
Fucking minerals, bruv.
Okay. Yeah. I will give you that point to delete that comment because you know what? Kante is a generational player. Okay? Conor Gallagher is not even a generational Cobham product. Okay? So for you to even compare it, and you didn't put a laughing emoji beside it, so I can honestly think that's what you actually mean.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing is like this. I never worried about when Kante was in the side. I never worried about him tackling the wrong person or anything like that, or giving the ball away like Conor Gallagher does, or just not doing the basics like Conor Gallagher does. Now, Kante is and has been world class. Conor Gallagher is not even sometimes Premier League class. Okay, so for you to actually put that, let me just say this right now. Okay, I don't know what it is with Caicedo. Okay, and you need to get that out of your head. You really do about the price. It happened. We paid it. It's done. Caicedo has played far better in the last couple of games than Conor Gallagher has the entire season. Okay? Conor Gallagher wouldn't have made that tackle. No, he would have made that tackle at Burnley, he did. But he would have taken the guy legs from behind and got sent off. Okay? I don't know what you need to get the price of Caicedo out of your mind. Caicedo is one of the best defensive midfielders in the league. Conor Gallagher is not even one of the best midfielders. I mean, I can't believe you've actually done an own goal on yourself and actually tried to fit Kante and Gallagher. You've actually done a Thomas Tuchel. I cannot believe you've done this. That, guys, in the chat, put a big L for God of Frogs. That is the worst comment.
Hey, if you got the emojis, come on, use the emojis, all right?
Yeah.
If you got the emojis, use them.
Put the thumbs down for him, please.
The thumbs down, the bad take
the
emoji.
Worst ever.
Listen, I love N'Golo Kante.
even Metal Face Doom has been supporting you. He wouldn't have even said that. He would have never said that. I said that whatsoever.
Oh my goodness. But I mean, listen, we can go on and on about Conor Gallagher, and I would love to have Scott here because I know he definitely doesn't like Conor, but I'm sure he can come to some consensuses and reasoning with the take that I have. But I will say, with Conor, there has been improvement. We will see what happens. If Chelsea decide to keep him.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, just my main takeaway from that is it was discussing his future. That doesn't mean he's leaving. So that's what I kind of meant when it said we have to come to a consensus, because there is an option to keep him as well. We just need to. Everyone has to agree on that. That's going to really help us going forward.
Yeah. So if he stays, I'm not going to be too upset because if he keeps improving the way he's improving, then I could see him being a pretty good asset to the team. And if he goes, then I hope we get a good penny out of him because I think there have been very impressive aspects to his game, mostly off the ball this season that have been very notable. And I think clubs would like, and it's impressive, I would say. And hopefully we get a good penny for him. But until then, we're going to have to see how this plays out. We're 2 months away, 3 months, I would say 2 months and 3 weeks away from that January transfer window. So only Marshall makes outrageous claims, no one else. I don't think anything I said was outrageous. I think it was pretty reasonable to say that Gallagher has been improving this season. I think it's pretty reasonable to say that Conor Gallagher could stay in the team come January. I think it's pretty reasonable to say that Conor Gallagher could fit into the squad depending on the tactics needed. So it's not like I'm saying he's world class, he's untouchable, he's unmovable. And what you had mentioned before about Mason Mount.
To Kante either, isn't it?
Well, there are aspects of his game that I see why Tuchel said the Conte comparison. And most of that is the interceptions and the tackling.
Let me just say this right now. There's nothing in this game that reminds me of Kante whatsoever.
You don't mean that.
It's not. He doesn't tackle like Kante.
The work rate, pretty much.
Oh,
I don't think even the work rate.
You and I, Oliver, we don't rate work rate because that should be already in. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying I rate it. I'm just saying I'm making the point.
No, but we shouldn't. No one should be judged. No one should be. We shouldn't judge. Oh, he's got work rate. Yeah, you motherfucker. You get paid thousands of pounds a week. It should be work.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like that.
So
fair point.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to Conor Gallagher. But listen, I'm not
doing Gallagher. I'm not doing Gallagher debates this entire season. I swear to God.
No.
I got rid of those two bozos in the summer.
Yes. Listen, again, Gallagher. Listen, I still hold that Gallagher this season has given me more than Mason Mount in the last two. Okay, I'll still hold on to that. I can go. I'll go down to the grave with that if need be. But we'll see at the end of the season. Let's go on to the next topic. We didn't discuss this. By the way, if you haven't done so already, do smash up the like button. It does help out the channel with the algorithm and all that stuff. But the next topic I wanted to discuss is something we didn't actually get to discuss, which is Thiago Silva potentially being problematic in the squad. I find this to be absurd, but let's go into it. I think you guys already know what I'm going to talk about. This was discussed shortly while we were in a bad run of form. So Matt Law apparently saying Thiago Silva has not been shy to tell his managers how he feels the team should be set up and play, particularly as he eyes a transition into coaching when he finally hangs up his boots. He is demanding at the training ground and on the pitch, but his high standards can also sources claim, cross the line into sulking when he does not feel they are being met. Going on, it was a puzzle to a number of sources that Silva was not named as one of Chelsea's captain at the start of the season, and his apparent refusal to take the armband when it has been offered to him during the games has been spotted by those on social media who like to dissect such things, coming from Matt Law as well. And the last one from Matt Law, Thiago Silva is meant to be the man setting an example to his much younger teammates, but it was the veteran who head coach Mauricio Pochettino had to tell to calm down during the draw with Bournemouth. Listen, I'm going to be straightforward with this. Thiago Silva, out of anyone in this team, has the right to be demanding of the highest standards. This man has won everything, just about everything in his career. He is the players in this team should be picking his brain and asking him questions constantly, especially if you're a center back or a defender. You should be learning as much. You should be soaking up everything this man says as a sponge. Now, Matt Law, as we all know, Matt Law, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I have to kind of agree with Minerals when it comes to Matt Law right now. Matt Law, this guy, it seems like he has an agenda against Chelsea.
By the way, just quickly, I don't know if we pointed this out yet. This was released on Thiago Silva's 39th birthday.
True. Thank you for pointing that out. This was also, the timing of it was too convenient. Matt Law, brown envelope, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Now I have to look, is he wrong? Is the sources, is what he's saying incorrect? No, I think there is some accuracies to it. But I think what makes Matt Law annoying and what now is making me question everything he says is he has select wording. I'm sure this is happening. I'm sure the players feel the pressure from Thiago Silva. But to say he's sulking, I think that's a very specific word that Matt Law is trying to get out there to get the crowd, to get the clickbait going, to get a ruse out of the Chelsea fans. I think Thiago Silva does have a high standard. We all know he definitely has a high standard. He's one of the best players in this team, one of the biggest veterans in this team, right? And he has the right to demand high standards, but it is a lot of pressure. There is a lot going on, and I'm sure there are moments where Poch kind of wants him to not be as harsh, because it seems like Poch has more of an empathetic character than Thiago Silva. But I'll leave it to you guys. What do you guys think on this?
I think he definitely has the right. He has the right to ask for high standards, absolutely. And with his experience, I understand that. The only thing I would say is, he needs to be capable of delivering those standards himself. He can't be one to call the kettle, call the pot black. Kettle calling the pot black.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He has. If he's to demand high standards, he needs to reach that himself, and he has not done that this season. And that's the truth. And this isn't, I'm not hating on the guy. This is just straight facts here. But yeah, Matt Law, we know what kind of piece of work he is. Just we don't have to go over that again. But I don't know, man. I think, yeah, if he's going to ask for high standards, he needs to bring them on the pitch himself. As for the attitude thing, I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that. That might be, as you alluded, it could be just Matt Law using vocabulary. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andrew? I don't know.
So here's the thing. You don't hear this a lot because I don't know why Chelsea fans have this God complex, or that think Thiago Silva's a god, that somehow he's doing us a favour that he's playing for us. I would ask Thiago Silva why he shrinks like the rest of the team when we go down one goal.
True.
Why he doesn't step up and lead. Even without a captain's armband. You don't need a captain's armband to be a leader. I want to know what, if I was a youngster, I'd be going to him, so why haven't you really stepped up recently? In the last year or so. We're looking for people to lead the youngsters out and everything like that. Why is it that this season you've been carried in the defence by the rest of the team, essentially? That you are, even on Saturday, by the way, it was the whole defence Saturday that were culpable for that goal. Every member of that defence had a hand in that goal going in. But I don't know why somehow in this fan base we're not allowed to criticise Thiago Silva. What he's doing is wrong or right or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to, you're right. He's been one of the best players and won everything. You're absolutely correct. But I've been absolutely disgusted in his lack of leadership in the last year or so. In his own game, to actually put his head down and just go with the flow and not try and get the troops together, to lead and to take this young team forward. It's been actually youngsters or younger players that have been leading him, and that's just my main issue. He's been a fantastic player for us. I have no doubt about that. But to actually take a look at yourself first. You know what I mean? Take a look at yourself first before people in glass houses, right? That old saying. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. You know what I mean? You've been wanting like the rest for for at least the last 18 months or so. You've been wanting, and this season, I'm telling you right now, if Badiashile comes back and he's playing well, Thiago Silva doesn't get in this team.
I agree.
He just does not get in this team.
I think with Silva too, I think it is notable that he hasn't been as impressive as he was in previous seasons. And Vic, to answer your question, I have this tweet for you, okay? Right here. One source close to the dressing room, speaking anonymously to The Athletic to protect relationships, has questioned how much Silva is showing he is a winner in the dressing room and setting the standards. They claim that there is no one really taking responsibility, driving everyone, making it clear. We're all in this together. You can see this on the pitch. Now, passing on the armband, not wanting the armband. It's very possible that, and I'm 100% certain this has happened, okay? Poch and Thiago Silva sat down. They talked about last season. They talked about this season. They talked about what he wants to do with his career going forward, where he sees himself at Chelsea. And I'm sure Poch said, listen, you're getting up there in age. We're going to start to phase you out. We need to start developing a spine. We can't be relying on you all the time. I'm going to start to give the leadership over to the people who have a future in this club longer than the season. And it's very possible that Thiago Silva just said, okay, I agree with you, coach. I think, Connor, he's going to be here for a while. Reece James is going to be here for a while. Chilwell, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to take on the captain's armband if given. I'm going to give it to the players that have a future in this club. And not to say that Thiago Silva is not going to have a future. Maybe if he steps up. Look, Thiago Silva can stay in this club for as long as he performs. I'm not opposed to that. But we got to be realistic. He's not immortal. He's not going to perform for forever. So right. I think that's why he's given off the captaincy. He doesn't want the captaincy.
But this tweet isn't about the captaincy, and it goes back to Andrew.
It's about that's what I'm saying, like about the unity of the club. I think Thiago Silva doesn't see himself as being the responsible one in the club. He sees like, I am part of this club, and I am part of this club's plans. And this club's plans, future, this captaincy's future, is not me. I'm gonna,
but he can still lead within that framework.
Yeah, but he doesn't need the captaincy armband. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
No, but that's Andrew's point. You can show certain aspects without actually having that role on you.
Yeah.
We've had players that have done that in the past. He's no different. Mm-hmm. He can definitely step up to that plate if he so chooses.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, he played. Last season he played a hell of a lot of games, right? As soon as we went 1-0 down, and even some part in this season, the heads go down. He's one of the first. The head goes down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't like seem to step up. He doesn't seem to. Look what we talked about it before the last couple of games, especially against Villa. How slow he is passing. You know what I mean? Get rid of the ball. And that's to be fair, that's no in the last two games. His actual pass, and he just gets rid of the ball quicker. But I just think like this whole thing is like we were like, oh, thank you, Mr. Thiago Silva for coming to play for Chelsea. Like, no, you're lucky to play for us. I mean, should be able to criticise him when he's not played well, and he hasn't played well like the rest of them for the last year and a bit. He just hasn't.
Yeah.
And I expect more of that from him. I do expect more of that from him. So, whether this is last year or not, if Badiashile gets back, then I see Thiago Silva being a backup on the bench. And let's see how he reacts to that.
The people with that outlook, we're fortunate to have Thiago Silva, and I think we are definitely fortunate to have him. But at the same time, no one's bigger than the club, and people that do that, it reminds me of like the way Tottenham were with Harry Kane. Oh, we're so lucky to have you, thank you. But you need to grow beyond that.
Yeah.
Just need to be.
Yeah.
Like I said, no player is bigger than the club. He will leave one day, and we will be just fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think he's established himself in the team. He's put his imprint in the club defensively as well on these players, and if he leaves, I hope that the defense does him proud and the legacy continues, and we can see Thiago Silva's imprint on there. And I hope he does come back to work for Chelsea. I really do.
That's fine.
I think it'd be a fantastic mentor.
I just don't. Anyone in this chat right now, Thiago Silva doesn't play well, but people don't recognise it or try and shoot you down. Don't be afraid to criticise him because he deserves to be criticised like any other player. You know, like any other player.
Listen, we're not going to bash you for it. Like I think all of us here on the panel are very reasonable when it comes to seeing the opinions. Listen, we don't agree with Metalface Doom, but he came on here and had, okay, Metalface, you had some good points. You know, it was right, sort of
very respectable.
I just want to say as well, like, just want to say quickly, you know, Thiago Silva became the player with the status he has in the game because of his own high standards as a player in his prime. We need to hold those same standards as a fan base.
Yeah, of course.
I totally agree. And you know what? Whether he's getting older or not, that's fair. But I don't know. I think this will be his last season. I really do.
Yeah, it seems like
Although
it.
He came out in the summer. And there was a line, and whether it's true, quoted to him saying, "I want to go back and retire in Brazil, but my kids don't want to move back there." So whether he goes or not, it's like,
yeah.
You know,
That's another thing too. Family is gonna play a big part in this. So
precisely.
Yeah. So speaking on the captaincy, let's talk about our actual team captain, James. He's suspended. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he's suspended. He's injured, but somehow he got suspended. Let's discuss this.
God, talk about old news.
Listen, it's relevant.
That game already happened.
Is he gonna play? Is he gonna play for Arsenal? Who knows? But I know, and I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Reece James has been charged for the FA regulation discipline update. Reece James has been charged with breach of the FA Rule E3 following Chelsea's Premier League game against Aston Villa on Sunday, 24th September. It's alleged that the defender used improper and/or insulting and/or abusive words and/or behaviors towards a match official in the tunnel after the game. Reece James has until Friday 29th to provide a response to his charge going on. And again, this was in reference, I think it was because of the Malagusto call, right? Malagusto got sent off and Reece James had...
This was after the full-time whistle.
After the full-time whistle, Reece James will. Reece James will miss the Burnley game and not the Arsenal one after the international break, as he's injured. This had no effect on Chelsea, as he was due to miss out this weekend. Hey, keep it hush hush, because the FA don't know he's injured.
Mission failed successfully.
He was fit. He was fit. Okay, guys. And then we have here regulation discipline update. Reece James has been given a 1-match suspension and £90,000 fine for breaching FA. Million. Yeah, that'd be ridiculous. But don't talk to the refs, guys. Fine for breaching FA Rule E3 at Chelsea's Premier League match against Aston Villa. Yada yada. The defender admitted that he used improper, insulting, abusive, and Jesus Christ, this is so overinflated. Match official in the tunnel after the final whistle. An independent regulatory commission imposed these sanctions following the hearing, and its written reasons for them will be published at the earliest opportunity. Listen, he's going to be back for Arsenal. I wonder what he said. Something tells me what he said wasn't that bad, but they just like to blow shit up.
What I don't get is that. Why would you... So wait a minute. You give the ban, that's fine. The player's injured, but you ban him for a game he has no chance of making playing. How does that make any sense? It's like, well, why don't you ban him for when he's actually announced to be back? Well, I wouldn't want that, but do you know what I mean? It's like, why don't you ban him for when he's actually going to be back playing? It's like if Ivan Toney had been banned for like 3 months or 2 months, but they were in like June and July, and it's like of this year, it's like, well, what's the point? Is he not even playing? Do you know what I mean? Or he's on holiday. It's like it's completely. I mean, this whole this is what I'm talking about. This FA, right? Look at all this, right, for a 1-match ban, right? And they do fuck all with racism and stuff like that. They take bloody ages to do anything, and all this whole thing. The guy probably swore at him once. Probably said, "What the fuck were you doing?" or something like that, right? Or something like, "Well, that wasn't a fucking red," or whatever. What he said. But you do all this. It's like a bloody. It's like an episode of Law and Order or something. I'm reading it. I mean, what you know? It's like.
This is the screen right.
Ridiculous. This whole thing.
Oliver knows, but I'm pissed off at the refereeing right now with fucking Vinicius right now. The motherfucker.
Yeah.
Andrew, I don't know if you know this. Vinicius got away with doing it again.
What, he did the
In the
he did
player,
the-
yes, he
He
did
did
it
it.
again.
He did it to the Nottingham Forest player yesterday.
My God.
Fuck
He
Vinicius,
did it
man.
again,
That's
and the
my
guy
new
went
agenda.
flying
Ladies
into
and gents,
the.
that's my new agenda.
What was it? Someone went flying into the blooming the advertising, didn't?
Yeah, that was Vinicius. He went flying to the advertising
Yeah,
rep,
and he started
as
crying,
was
like,
doing
oh.
it. Yeah, fucking bitch. I fucking hate that cunt.
I will
Anyways.
say though, just on the Malo Gusta thing, me and Scott have made our opinions clear on it. That was a red card.
Yeah.
Like straight up, that was a red card. So I don't know what Reece James's point of contention is here. Like I can't. What?
Okay. Oliver, okay. You guys in the chat chip in on this. Actually, I'll put up a poll. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna do this right now. Poll is gonna be because we're talking about Malagusta's red card, and I agree with you guys. If that's a rule, then by all means he should have been sent off. The poll is gonna be: should Kovacic have been sent off? Because he missed the ball
Absolutely.
completely.
I'm going to be consistent here. You know, Curtis Jones got sent off for the same thing. Kovacic should have been sent off for the same thing. It's a tackle with the studs.
And not only that, but he did it twice. He got away with the second yellow, which should have been a red to begin with if we're going to be consistent. If we're going to be consistent.
Well, that's the one thing referees lack nowadays. It's just so inconsistent.
So, and they checked VAR and everything, and the call once again was not given. So it just blows my fucking mind. Listen, he missed the ball. Unlike Malagusta, where he actually got the ball, and then in the follow through, unfortunately, studs met the ankle of Digne. But
Marshall, we've gone through this.
I agree.
It doesn't matter.
But it's just, again, the consistency with the FA, because now we have a similar play with Kovacic and who was it that he was it Declan Rice? It was Declan Rice.
Yeah, I think it was
Declan Rice.
Yeah.
And it was Odegaard the first time. Declan Rice the second time. With Odegaard, doesn't get sent off, gets yellow. And again, I love Kovacic, but hey, at the end of the day, the rules are the rules. Like, he should have been sent off. It's ridiculous. So I get why Reece James was upset.
But the inconsistency has nothing to do with the way Reece James reacted in that tunnel, because these are the three events that are linked here. We've got the Malo Gusto red card, the Curtis Jones red card, and then the Kovacic not getting sent off. The Curtis Jones thing and the Kovacic thing did not happen before or during the Chelsea game then. So Reece James was not complaining about inconsistency there. He genuinely thought that was. He must have genuinely thought that was not a red card. To which I completely disagree with him. And I don't know what the outburst is. He must have lost his temper. In which case, as the captain of a big football club, you have to do better.
Yeah, no, understandably. Just the way I see it, and this is my point of view on this, is it seems to me Digne kicked Malagusto. So that's the way I see it. But regardless, it is a dangerous play. If the rule is, if it's a dangerous play, automatic red, you put yourself in that position.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. If it endangers, then it's a red card, and that's just the letter of the law. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm not. I understand. You know, in an ideal world, like, you know, we'd love for we would love for intent to be considered. It just isn't, though. We have to just live with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys in the poll, 10 of you voted so far. Everyone's saying yes. So yeah, this is just a lack of consistency in the FA, which is absurd to me. But let's move on to the next topic before I lose my head, because Vinicius is still somehow not suspended. Let's go ahead and talk about some injury updates. So for those of you who do not know, Benoit Badiashile has gotten a little bit of a setback with his other hamstring, which is why we haven't seen him back yet. I'm hoping that by international break, he's back. But Mauricio Pochettino said, yeah, it was a different muscle, but it was minor. It was small. So hopefully small injury, meaning he comes back in time for Arsenal. I don't think he's going to play for Arsenal, but at least get him training because we have a really tough run of fixtures. I'm sure more players are going to get hurt because these matches are going to get tough. They're going to get scrappy. And so we're going to need everyone as fit as possible. And ideally, we come out of these run of fixtures fit with more players coming back as well, and Kunku around the corner as well. But then that's Badiashile. And then Chilwell. This one, Lewis. Get well soon. Don't rush back. We don't want to aggravate the injury. Yeah, sure. I'm sure that's what you meant, Lewis. Ben Chilwell expected to be out for a month, and then we got an update from Fabrizio Romano here. Ben Chilwell expected to miss the next 2 months due to hamstring injury. He could return in December, but it's not guaranteed yet. Blow for Poch, but Chelsea coaching staff have also appreciated Cucurella's performances. Training best way. 3 games started, 3 wins. Listen, it sucks that he's injured again. Many of you probably don't rate Chilwell, and many of us have been asking for Chilwell to just play left back. He hasn't really been the same since the knee injury, but regardless, it sucks that he's injured again. And now this is part of the reasoning as to like, why did we make this guy captain when he's not reliable to stay on the pitch? Why are we not considering selling this guy when we see how reliable it is when it comes to staying fit as well?
The thing is, like you mentioned there, like a lot of people don't rate Chilwell at the moment, but it's not even about that. It's not even about that at this point. The guy is injury prone. Like there is enough evidence now. It's been enough years of him being at this football club. He is injury prone, and I don't care. I don't care how good you are. You know, we had N'Golo Kante at this club, and when he was fit, he was of a top standard, but there are always going to be question marks when you're injury prone, and rightfully so. Even with Reece James, who is one of our best players, you know, he's injury prone, and there should be more questions about him from this fan base.
You're right.
Yeah. And this. Go ahead, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just saying when it comes to Chilwell, this stinks. It just he needs to figure out. I don't even know if he can figure it out. But and I said this, and I wish Chris was still here. I said this last season, and at the beginning of last season, I was looked at with 2-3 heads. When you look at how much we bought Chilwell for, £50 million, right? I believe 50 to 60 million pound transfer fee from Leicester.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it's around that price. Has he met and has he lived up to that price tag? And I would say no, he has not. Yes, he's good. He has been good. He's had really fantastic seasons under us. The first season he came in with Lampard and Tuchel, fantastic. Half the season when he was with us with Tuchel, fantastic as well. But ever since that season, he's been on a decline. He's been injured consistently. I don't think he's been good, and I don't think he's lived up to that 50 million, that price tag he came in for.
Just for the record, by the way, when we signed him, he was the world record transfer fee for a fullback.
Yeah. So, personally, me, and you guys can say what you want in the chat. Maybe you don't agree. Maybe you just really like Chilwell, and I like Chilwell. Don't get me wrong, but he's not been up to scuff this season. You could say because he played left wing, sure, but even in the preseason when he was playing left back, there was lackluster for lack of a term. But it's just I don't think he's been good enough, and now I'm looking at that price tag, and I just don't think Chilwell's been living up to it. I really don't. Hopefully he turns it around, but I don't know. I'm inclined to almost start Cucurella over him, and I know people don't like that, but it is. Yeah, maybe. He's still one of the best in the league, but injury prone as hell. Same with James. I could say James, but I don't know. I just defensively, I don't think Chilwell's been.
The thing with Chilwell is he hasn't played enough. It's because of injury. He has not played enough since 2021 in order to put together a good enough body of work in order to make a decent case that he is still one of the best fullbacks in this league. He has not played enough. There is not enough recent evidence of that on a consistent enough basis.
Plus, I would argue that the left backs in this league now are bang average. So that's not a boast to say still one of the best at all. I think Andy Robertson has fallen off a cliff.
Yes,
Luke Shaw is
tremendously. I really
inconsistent and
rated
injured
him.
as well.
Yeah.
All the rest are like Opinions now injured out for a while. Adogi's the flavour of the month. Man City don't really play with a left back. They play with a centre back at left back. Arsenal Zinchenko is not that good. So I would say he's still one of the best. That's not a boast at this time. It really is not. That just shows the lack of depth. I mean, look at even Newcastle play with Dan Burn at left back. Would you call him a good left back? No, not really. So it's like
Standard for best left back in the league isn't very high.
yeah, the best left back in the league right now is not a boast at all. I wouldn't be boasting.
But on the topic of left back, which I say this because maybe it's a position we might need to look into. Not left back necessarily, but maybe left wing. I don't know. Now things are looking, if things stay the way they are consistently, results and the players performing well, then maybe we don't have to discuss this anymore. But there was a point in the summer where we were discussing potentially getting another left wing. But let's discuss the transfer plans going forward. And some things that have been revealed that I wasn't aware of, and now we have more information on, so we see how things went and what exactly went behind some of the decisions in the summer. So let's discuss first tweet here from Rizzi Romano. I'm aware of some Chelsea transfer rumors about a possible change in approach this January that could see them target more experienced players. From what I'm hearing, it's too early to know for sure. Nothing has been decided yet, and more meetings will take place in the next weeks, and especially between November and December, to decide how to act and what kind of signings are needed going forward. Excuse me. Oh, there we go. A little bit of latency there. Sorry, guys. Anyways, then we have Mauricio Pochettino conceded that his young side will take time to get better. We need more experience, but that is about time. We need to provide the players playing in the Premier League the experience that they need. This is coming from Sky Sports and The Sun, but this is Mauricio Pochettino's comments. Then he also, we also have a bit of a opinion piece here from The Athletic. The Chelsea struggles in attack does not reflect well on Pochettino. A source close to senior players says it is because Pochettino has given limited tactical instruction to the attacking players and been keeping the message simple instead by, for example, encouraging people to express themselves, which is uncomfortably too familiar.
I hate that phrase.
Yeah. Others, I know why you hate it. Others dispute this and regard the problem as being more caused by not being able to field a consistent lineup due to injuries, which, I mean, it could be a little both. It could genuinely be a little both. Continuing on, Pochettino, I think, like I told before, when the transfer window was closed, I need to be involved, more involved now in every single decision. I think we need to start identifying what we need in January. And I believe he even said that in a press conference. Then Chelsea can spend big again in January if they wish, having agreed a cash injection for Aries management worth £415 million, but outgoings still need to be as important. I think this is a little bit of misinformation that Aries management is supposed to be for the development of the stadium. I'm sure they can use that loan towards players, but I don't think it's in the best interest of Bowley & Co. But that being said, I think what these few tweets have revealed to me is that a lot of these players that we signed weren't necessarily decided by Poch. And I'm starting to think maybe even the Felix decision and all that stuff that we saw wasn't Poch's, choice at all.
But the ownership wanted to keep Felix, though.
I think Vivell wanted to keep Felix.
Maybe.
I think Vivell wanted to keep Felix, and when Stanley and Lawrence Stewart were like, no, we have other plans.
I don't think this. I think they felt with Felix. It's just not. They just probably looked and said, "Is it worth it?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, that too. Obviously, that too. The pricing.
This was when Cuckoo was injured. We've already got Nkuku coming in. You know, it's not even with a loan deal. It's not a guarantee of anything. And then you still want to pay an extra 78 million on top of another loan fee. That's probably about 20 million pounds plus all his wages, which is like over 250 grand. So, I think Poch knew about these players coming in and was told about them, and I think they took his attitude under advisement. You know,
sure. Because I remember, if I recall, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I remember when Ugarte fell through. Apparently, Poch had suggested what was his name, Gabby Viega, right? Completely, different profile, but rumors were coming out that he had made transfer suggestions. So it gave me this inclination to think that, okay, he has a say in transfers. Whether or not he's getting the transfers he wants, I don't know. But now we're seeing that all these transfers, for the most part. I think you're right. Yeah.
You remember, Ugarte came out of nowhere. If you remember, right? So I'm thinking that's a Poch thing. Because Ugarte literally came out of nowhere. We weren't really linked to him. It was all Caicedo.
Sure.
It was only Caicedo. And then remember, it wasn't Ugarte or Caicedo. It's Ugarte and Caicedo.
Yes.
If you remember during that time. And I had to Poch asking to try and get Ugarte and stuff like that, because he wasn't on anyone's list or no YouTuber was talking about getting like Chelsea linked to Ugarte. No report was saying anything about Ugarte whatsoever. Now, am I in the mind that a manager should have complete control over all his signings? At a time when he earns it and we've won a load of things, no problem. Let's look at Erik ten Hag. They've got all of his signings that he's wanted. Look how that's playing out. I'm sure. Yeah. Even Pep, he wanted the when his first season he signed Milito and Claudio Bravo and stuff like that, and those didn't work out. So it's like, I'm sure they'll work in tandem with the boss, like most European clubs do. Or actually, probably in the Premier League clubs, only probably some of the clubs that actually work with their manager in tandem. The rest, mostly in Europe, the coach is just the coach. Do you know what I mean? They'll just buy the players. So, but back to this, I think we need to definitely, if not in January, definitely discuss a new left back next summer. That is that's for definite.
Yeah, it's becoming a point of contention.
I think a striker is needed, depending on how good Jackson and Boho are doing at the time. I think.
Yeah, true.
And then Nkuku's not going to be back, and I think it's unfair to put all that on Nkuku when he's coming back from a big injury. They did listen to him, Metal Face Doom. They're just talking nonsense. Honestly, these guys, honestly. Yeah, cause they never listened to Tuchel, right? That's why they bought Aubameyang. You know what I mean? They never listened to Tuchel. That's why they didn't buy a midfielder. They didn't sign a midfielder to Zakaria late in the window. That's got to let agendas agenda, right? I don't think Osimhen's a target in January unless something really bad happens in terms of falling out in that. But then in January do you pull the trigger on Toney? You know what I mean? That's the thing. I don't know who else comes to mind. I'm not saying he's involved in all the transfers, but does he seem like he's complaining being signed? No. So
not really.
Thing is though, we've been clear on this for a while though, because Luis Enrique, we looked at him as a potential replacement, a permanent replacement for Graham Potter, and the reason we walked away from him is because he wanted too much control. So we have clear limits on the amount of control that we want a manager to have, and Poch would have known that walking into the job. He is under no illusion here of anything.
Yeah, 100%.
If you don't think Metal Face Doom Aubameyang was bought for Tuchel, you're out of your goddamn mind. Okay? And the reason he didn't recognise Zacharias because he thought we didn't need a midfielder, even though he said literally, "Oh, we've got Kovacic and Jorginho or Kante." Sorry, Kovacic, Kante, and someone had to remind him that those guys get regularly injured. Okay, he didn't want us midfielder because he said Gallagher's got Kante traits. All right, yeah, and Aubameyang he's worked with before. If you don't think they bought Aubameyang for Tuchel, you're in. So nice try yourself. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, before we got Oba, the striking option, I don't remember either.
Honest Fox is right. I can't even remember who the striking targets were. I don't even remember. I'm struggling. I'm struggling.
Memphis Depay was one of them. I remember that.
We still had.
There was the Ronaldo thing that came up.
Oh yeah, Ronaldo. True.
Right.
Yeah. Ronaldo, Memphis Depay was an option because I remember it was between Memphis Depay or Aubameyang. And we were all we're gonna go with Aubameyang, yeah. And I can't remember who else there was. Yeah. I don't think there was really much. It was slim pickings.
Let me ask you a question, guys. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Tuchel was involved in us getting Lukaku or Salnaguez in summer 21?
Oh, absolutely not. I really don't think so.
Okay. Do you think Lampard was involved in the 2020 window?
Yeah. I think Lampard did have involvement. I genuinely do think that.
You thought he had involvement in all those transfers?
Not all of them.
Maybe not all of them. Not all of them. Like
Chilwell and Silva are like the standouts that he would have wanted. He definitely didn't want Havertz.
He admitted in an interview he wanted Declan Rice too. Where we had all those rumors come from.
So what's that? Why would a manager come out and say they need a midfielder to raise the prices? What? No. He said he didn't want a midfielder because he had Kovacic and Kante and he had Gallagher who had Kante traits.
I think what he's saying is that like what they're trying to say here is that if Tuchel publicly came out and said he wanted a midfielder, then the other clubs would have upcharged.
No, they wouldn't charge Chelsea premium anyway.
That's the counter. Yeah, we get charged a premium anyway.
So that statement's nonsensical. We get charged. We get charged loads. But it's like, okay, do you think Conte wanted all those in the 17 window? Apart from Pedro, do you think Mourinho wanted all those players in the 15 window? Do you think he went? Do you know what? I want Baba Rahman, Matt Miazga, Chuchubuchi, whatever his name is, and Michael Hector. Do you think he went? Serious work. This club has been buying players with or without having a manager's input since Roman Abramovich is bought in. Do you think Mourinho wanted Shevchenko? No, he did not want Shevchenko. Look at his body language when he talks about Shevchenko in that summer and then he talks about Michael Ballack. It's night and day. When he talks about Michael Ballack, you can see him smiling about Michael Ballack. When he talks about Shevchenko, you can see it's like, why did you get this guy? He's on the downturn. So a manager didn't buy this. What's the urban legends about Liverpool? Klopp didn't want Salah.
No,
he didn't want Salah. He didn't want him. He wanted Julian Brandt, the Dortmund player. So just don't. Honestly, get out of this mind that a manager, has to be involved in everything. Like I say again, look at Eric Ten Hag. Manchester United actually bought the players he wanted, and look how it's turning out so far. So,
I think another thing to point out too is that I think it's safe to say, like now that I'm talking about this, discussing it out loud, and looking at the bigger picture, it's also important that when Poch came into this team, that he stabilized the ship and not worry so much about transfers, because on the other hand too, there was a lot of players that had to go, and we had to do a lot of sales. So maybe Poch not being as involved helped him focus more on settling into the squad, coming up with an idea, and working with the players he knew he was going to stay with. Which is why, if you guys remember, he had to separate squads too. He had to separate the squads of the players that had no interest in staying at the club and the players that were going to be here. And so he focused up on the club that he was going to get. So now
why isn't it more logical to say? Isn't it more logical to actually think a manager goes in and goes, okay, so I have a top 3, a top 5 list of players in what positions we need, and I want try and get me anyone. I want any one of these 3 or 4 players on that list.
Sure.
Position. Try and get me one of them. Why isn't that? That's more logical, right? You know what I mean?
That seems so.
That's more logical. And Poch is like I said, I don't think. But you're right, Poch. He even said it. There's players that will be staying, not on the tour, that were staying at Cobham to train separately. The Lukaku's, your Ziyech's, your Pulisic's, stuff like that. And that's only right. There's no. If you're planning to sell players, why would you have them the first team anyway? If you're planning to sell them, it's just a bad mixture. That's what it is.
It makes sense to me that he wasn't as involved because in that summer window, I think he had to be more responsible. He had to focus up on, hey, these are the players I have. Let's fix the void and the toxicity in the locker room. Let's get these players to play together and let's figure out something. And now that things are more settled, now that he's integrated his plan and his tactics and his style of play that he wants with these players, maybe now he has a little more time to be more focused on the transfers. So maybe that's what he means by being more involved with the transfers.
Here's the thing, right? We're going about wanting a left back, right? Okay, so if you can get either one, but on the list is Theo Hernandez and Alphonso Davies from Bayern Munich, right? Now, if you rate both players and we get either one of them, are you going to say, oh, well, Poch did have a hand in it or didn't have, depending if you rate the player or not? You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Because it's going, because if we were to get, and then the third option is Reguilon, and we get Reguilon, you're going to go, oh, well, Poch didn't want him. Something like because you don't rate the player. What if Poch said, either or, Davies or Hernandez, I'm not bothered on either or, just get me one of them, and we get one of them, are you going, Poch definitely wanted this guy, but he didn't want this guy? It's like,
I just don't know. Why does it even matter? Why does it matter to people?
Why does it matter? Why does it matter if he wanted?
Look at Bayern Munich. They don't buy for their manager. They have a transfer committee.
Real Madrid never buy for their manager.
Real Madrid, yeah, exactly.
Buy for their manager whatsoever.
Fair enough.
And you know what I mean? It's like if it works out, well, who cares if the manager wanted him or not? He's deemed it. Oh, okay. So he didn't want Cole Palmer. Does he seem that fussed that he didn't? Like he might not want Cole Palmer. He's played in mostly all the games now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, who cares? Who cares if he plays and they do well? They so.
And at the end of the day, I still stick by this. He's getting backed here at Chelsea more than he was at Tottenham, and he has the tools he needs to work with what he has and make something happen.
Well, yeah, especially from a financial point of view.
Exactly. So let's go on to a player that I wish Ahmed. I don't know what happened to Ahmed. He just disappeared. Maybe because he foresaw this coming. But Pochettino mad at Madueke. The agenda. He doesn't rate him. Well, let's find out. Okay. So we have here Simon Phillips reporting the Standard Sport. Noni Madueke picked up an injury while with England U21s during the international break. He was again absent for the loss to Aston Villa, but the club are not concerned by the problem and hope the youngster is able to feature again before the end of the month. This is to give context to the following. Mauricio Pochettino was not happy with Noni Madueke over the party video and had talks with him at Cobham privately about it. He was clear. He does not want to see these things happen. He wants a super serious mentality at a serious club. The player understood. Listen, personally, I don't think any of us in the panel right here or in the chat really care, but I think all of us know, especially who've been watching football for a while. There's a lot of these old school managers that have a really old school mentality of, listen, you need to take your career seriously. I don't want you partying. I don't want you doing all this and that. How do you guys remember when Jack Grealish, when he in his younger days before the Man City stuff, how often he got busted up for going to parties and you know, celebrating?
Yeah.
He got in trouble for a lot of that stuff, and that, I would argue, that's part of the reason why it took him so long to make a big move in his career. He didn't get to Man City until he was 26, 27. No, and same thing.
Yeah.
Well, Southgate's a different story, but he wasn't rated for a while because the managers didn't see him as taking his career seriously. So I see where Poch is coming from, especially coming from that Bielsa school of thought, very serious about the career and footballing aspects and all aspects. And not to say these players can't have fun, but there's a smart way to do it. And I think Noni needs to learn that.
Do we think though that I don't think it's about the partying. It's maybe about the fact that this guy's still working back to full fitness.
He was injured.
Trying to get into the squad. Injured at a time, and it's not a good look. I don't think maybe by not injured, playing well in around the squad, and just having a good time. I think it's
maybe it's just the fact that he was recorded.
Yeah, maybe.
Like it's not a thing where like
I think it's that, but I was just gonna say I think it's that, but also like
no one would know
like
what
anyone.
doing.
But also, like, guys, like, how often, like, you know, if you're working with someone, right, and they call out sick, and then you see them later on out having fun with some friends, that annoys you. It's annoying. So it's like, I'm not saying he's sick, but he's injured. He's supposed to be recovering, focusing on.
I do think though, it's like we have no idea what these guys are doing unless they're recorded doing something.
Of course,
of course. It's like, that's where Madueke now needs to, if he is doing something, needs to insist on, you know, either hiring a private place or room or something, and then even telling his friends like, you can't record me here or something like that. You know what I mean?
Or go to a place where you hand phones in at the door, you know, sort of thing.
Exactly. Go to a place where you know it's not going to be recorded and stuff like that. Something like, you know, or go to a friend's or something like that. I just think it's like it's like a redundancy thing, like, because, you know, that's the sort of environment where you should be able to be open and express yourself, and, you know, it is a PR risk if he says something that's like wild or does something that's wild, but, you know,
exactly,
it's just a liability thing and all that, you know.
Guys, we've already seen how many times players get caught on camera doing ridiculous stuff at a club, and you know, we can go through all the scandals, right? We don't need to, you know, go over it, but like, players need to be careful when they're in front of cameras because of the media. The media will always blow something up. They always want a story, and it's not a good look for Chelsea. Even though he didn't do anything wrong. I don't think Madueke did anything wrong, but regardless.
Yeah, I mean, in principle, I have no problem with it, but I can understand the point of view of the club and Pochettino.
Yeah.
I just think, though, the actual real issue for Madueke is that he got garbage minutes against Fulham, right?
Yeah.
Like, came on during injury time. On Saturday? I can't remember. He didn't come on.
He didn't come on.
No.
He didn't come on. That's what I mean. So
Maatsen came on.
That's what I mean. So it's like, he's not even getting minutes ahead of a guy who's in a contract dispute.
And he's not even a winger.
And he's not even a winger.
Yeah.
He's not even a winger. That's what I mean. And you could even say that Cole Palmer's not really a winger. But Cole Palmer's starting on the right. And Madueke's not even in the first sports and the manager. He's still a bit injured. That's fine. But he's not even getting 10, 15 minutes in regular time. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'd be worried about. If I'm Madueke, I'd be worried because he was at Tottenham. He left. Yeah. I don't know if he left because of Poch or whether they link it to Poch, but he left that. He left that because he didn't see a pathway through. And I'm just saying, you got now. Look at the situation right now, and that's before you even add to the mix a Chukwuemeka back into the mix. You know what I mean? It's a resurgent Sterling, a resurgent Mudryk, a Cole Palmer, and a Maatsen, and it's like you're like 8th choice. You know, you're like 7th or 8th choice.
And we've got Angelo in League On as well. He's doing really well. He'll come back.
you are, and who knows who will do well in these Euros coming up in the summer that Chelsea will get linked to. Do you know what I mean? There's bound to be someone who's aware of, or we were, someone's going to stand out. They always do in these tournaments, and that Chelsea will try and go after. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
And it's he's got to worry about that for me, not getting caught partying or something like that.
I agree. I think obviously getting caught partying doesn't help his case, but I think I'm not going to worry too much about Noni Madueke because two things. If the club are winning at the end of the day, if he's surplus for requirements, then so be it. I mean, the club are winning and we have players performing, right? And maybe he's not good enough. Like, I'm not going to cry about, like you said, Andriy Shevchenko, who was one of the best strikers in the world, coming to Chelsea, not working out because Didier Drogba's doing better. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to cry about that. I think he's a good player, but at the end of the day, if he doesn't make it over Raheem Sterling on the right or Cole Palmer because they're performing better, then I'm happy because Chelsea are winning in that case. But on the other hand,
remember, we were also linked to that Barcola dude.
True.
Well.
True.
We were also linked to him.
True.
So it's like, I'm not. Yeah. I'd worry.
We'll see, because players can get injured too, Andrew. That's the thing too. Like, I don't expect the squad to stay fit.
He's also injury prone. as well.
He's injury prone
That's
as well.
As well. Yeah. So it's like,
yes, true.
Yeah. And now that Mudrik's doing better, shift to Noni very quickly. He's lucky that Mudrik was bought for a dearer price and everything was focused on him. Mudrik starts playing more and more and better. That focus, no matter what we bought Mudrik for, that focus goes on Madueke afterwards, because he's going to be the odd man out. He might even make, when everyone's fit, he might even make any match day squads.
At the current rate,
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because I need to see him play more. But if he's mid, then that means Chelsea's standards are gone up, and it's harder to get to Chelsea.
I mean,
and we were linked to Doku as well, before he signed for City.
Before he had a howler today, by the way, I will say. So
yeah, still linked.
It was pocketed today, so. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Madueke. I don't think it's a bias. I genuinely think it's just he will get his chance. I'm sure he will, and when he does, he has to take it.
Did you have another tweet about this by any chance? Because I mean, I don't know if you read this out. I might have completely missed this, but there was a tweet where it was basically said like, Poch has talked to Noni about this, and Noni's acknowledged it. It's basically all fine. Like,
yeah. I mean, they're fine now, but he was obviously not happy about it.
There's an understanding there. That's the main thing to come out of this.
Yeah. And they've made amends, obviously.
I'm not even linking this to the party, and I'm just like, he's not even getting garbage bits. He got garbage minutes against Fulham. We've got nothing against Burnley. Nothing. Not even like 10 minutes. We could have brought him on. We were winning 4-1. Just bring him on. Get him run away. Didn't even get a run out. That's what I'm saying. You've got to be worried. You've got to be worried about that. You're not getting that. It's just.
We'll see. Time will tell. But we will come back to this for sure. We'll keep an eye on the whole Noni situation. Let's go ahead and bring up Cucurella. That's another player that we are not sure what's going to happen with him in his future. And he's been performing decently. Last game, not so hot, but I think the whole defense, had a bit of a howler in that last game. But, there's some discussions to be had about Cucurella. So here we have Nazar Kinsella. Mauricio Pochettino had held talks with Marc Cucurella in a bid to find a way past the Chelsea defender's failed move. After when the transfer window closed, we were talking in my office. We were really clear about how I see and assess him, and I listened to his feelings. Of course, it was a difficult time for him after he arrived from Brighton. It was tough, not only for him, but for many players. Obviously, we know Cucurella had a really tough time coming at Chelsea. Last season was not a good one for him mentally. His family had gotten robbed as well. So
he got ill as well with the
he
tonsillitis.
got ill as well. So he went through a lot last season. So that's why I'm not super critical of him last season. But continuing on, Marc Cucurella could end up staying at Chelsea after playing him in the Carabao Cup. Mauricio Pochettino has a big say and full control over selection. Pochettino has also said he wasn't involved in any Cucurella exit talks directly. This is coming from Ben Jacobs. So very likely that Cucurella had no idea that he was in talks to being sent out on a loan. Fell apart. So Mauricio Pochettino and his staff have faith in Marc Cucurella following improved performances and strong efforts in training, which I never doubted. I think Cucurella always trained well, but it's the performances. We have to see more consistency, and I hope that if he does go to left back in the next coming games when we have Malo Gusto back and Reece James, that he does the same thing at left back. But what do you guys think about Cucurella potentially staying, or would you rather see him gone?
I don't know. I see, for me, when Gusto and Reece James come back, I still see Poch using Chilwell at left back. So I don't see I see Cucurella being a backup on the bench again. For me, he's done well the last few games. Absolutely. To me, he's still rash. Still runs in, leaves either gaps behind or misses the tackle completely. Like Burnley got the yellow card for a very, he didn't really, I don't think he that
wasn't even a tackle. That was like a kick. He kicked the guy.
Yeah, it was a kick. He didn't touch. Which he's very lucky he didn't actually touch the guy. Because I think he would have been in line for a red if he actually connected with the guy. The way he kicked out like that. So he's actually.
Well, he tried to swing for the ball and it hit the.
Yeah.
That was rash. I agree.
Very rash. But yeah, Reece James and Gusto back, and Chilwell being favoured at left back. To me, he goes on the bench as an option.
Possibly. I would like to see him at left back over Chilwell, though. I'm being more and more convinced that Chilwell's not working. But at the same time, though, Pochettino was persisting with Chilwell on the left wing, and he eventually decided, okay, this isn't working. I'm hoping he has the same revelation with Levi Chilwell. I know Levi had some good games here and there, and he has some good crossing ability, but against Burnley, which is not as tough of a side, no disrespect to Burnley, I don't know.
I think something catastrophic would either have to happen in one game or for a number of games for him to move Chilwell out of left back at this moment in time. Like he gets a red card, gives away penalties, or he gets completely roasted every time. I think that would have to happen consistently for Poch to move him out of left back.
And the way I see it with the Chilwell left back thing is, I think I've said this before on here. It's like, I think it depends on what Poch is willing to do in terms of how he wants his back line to be. In particular, would he be willing to play two left-footed centre backs in the back four? So have a left footer at right centre back, or does he want to play the right foot on the right side? If he wants to play with a left on the left and a right on the right, Chilwell will stay at left back when Badiashile comes back in, just to keep him in the team. It's about how you get Chilwell and Badiashile in the same back line. But that's the way I see it, but that's just my theory. We'll have to see what happens when he's fit to come back in, Badiashile. But that's just my theory for now. We'll see how much weight it holds.
Yeah, of course. You're absolutely right. So let's see what happens. I think Cucurella should be playing, especially at left back, but we'll just have to see, because now we're getting to the point where if we start playing well, we keep playing well, Pochettino does have a selection headache in front of him, which is good. Okay, going on to some other transfers that we actually have links to. Let's talk about Ivan Toney and Osimhen. So, and I probably spelled Osimhen wrong, so sorry if I did. Okay. Chelsea are showing strong interest in Victor Osimhen, Ivan Toney, Evan Ferguson, and Santiago Jimenez, also being monitored by Chelsea. Please, no Ivan Toney and Osimhen, those are fine options. I don't want to.
Your spelling's just the first H. That's the only thing with Osimhen.
Damn it! I always do that. I'll fix it.
Oh no, and the it's not what's it called? It's not for the end of Osimhen. It's not EH. It's HE. There you go.
There we go. Got it. It's a weird name to spell, but all right, I got it. So yeah, we are still linked, and there's strong links with Osimhen and Ivan Toney. We'll see what happens going into January, but we move on. Fabrizio Romano here reporting that Brentford want around 50 to 60 million pounds for Ivan Toney, which we'll come back to that price. Remember that price, ladies and gents. 50 to 60 million pounds for Ivan Toney. Coming from Fabrizio Romano. That, in my opinion, is not a bad price. But we'll come back to this. Victor Osimhen is keen on a move to the Premier League, and especially with all the the racial things that happened over in Napoli, it's looking more and more likely that it is possible Osimhen could leave Napoli as a result. Chelsea and Arsenal have been told the potential conductions of the Ivan Toney deal. Both are interested in the player. And we got two more tweets here. Despite spending £1 billion, Chelsea believe they may need to enter the January market. Ivan Toney is amongst their targets, coming from Tom Roddy. And last but not least, when it loads. Okay, Chelsea won striker in January and are interested in Napoli's Victor Osimhen and Brentford's Ivan Toney, coming from Jacob Steinberg. So we have some pretty reliable sources now giving us stronger and stronger links that Osimhen and Ivan Toney are on Chelsea's radar. I don't know what the price of Osimhen is, and to be honest, I haven't been keeping track of Osimhen this season. Has he been doing good? Has he been doing bad? I don't know. But Ivan Toney, 50 to 60 million pounds for arguably the second best striker, the third best striker, which still isn't that bad. Last season, when you're competing with Kane and Haaland, I mean, this guy, for that price, I really wouldn't mind it, guys. I really wouldn't mind it.
When this news came out, I heard a pretty mad take on another YouTube channel by a panelist. They said that this was not a bargain. That is one of the worst takes I've ever heard. Because Kane's not here anymore, so this is now the second best striker in the Premier League behind Erling Haaland. When are you ever going to get that for 70 million? In what other circumstance? How can you turn that down?
Yeah, especially considering the price of players in the market now. Like, Vlahovic was going for 80 million. So if I can get someone that
Marshall, you got to consider as well, the market's inflated since Vlahovic went to Juventus. So it's even better value than you think.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that betting scandal really put a dent on his value. I mean, listen, you can say what you want about the betting scandal and how he is going to behave himself come to Chelsea, but as far as I'm aware, he wasn't betting on his team to lose, I believe, right? He was betting on his team to win.
I don't
remember. There's details.
He didn't bet on any match that he was involved in.
Okay, yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, for that price,
if that's the price, that's insane. Brentford.
Yeah.
That's insane from Brentford. That is in this market, that is that's a snip, an absolute cut price. Because I honestly believe this. When he was here, top three were Haaland, Kane, and Toney. With the top three strikers in this league. He is the second best striker in this league. It's the second best striker. Second best number 9 in this league. At what? He's better. He's better. He is. He's better a goal scorer than Alvarez. He's better a goal scorer. Oh my god! I disagree with this. Oh my god! Oh my god!
You got to take into context too that he was like unlike Jesus, who was playing with a pretty stacked Arsenal team. Isak, I don't know either. you got to take into consideration that Brentford, Ivan Toney was doing what he was doing with a Brentford team.
By the way,
Not
Isak's only been
Arsenal
here for
team.
half a season. Let's
Yeah.
let's wait a little bit first.
Let me tell you this right now. He's better than Alvarez, Isak, and Jesus. Jesus shouldn't even be in that conversation. Jesus is a good player. He's not a number 9. His position is far better out on the right wing. When City bought him, he was better as a right number 9. Alvarez isn't even... I don't even know what Alvarez is yet to determine whether he's a number 9 or not. To play him as a 10. Isak, he's a hybrid. He's better than Isak. He's a better finisher than all 3 put together. He just is. He can hold up the... I say this right now. Go watch his performance away at Anfield last season at Liverpool. He didn't even score. Just watch his performance in that. He had that Liverpool defence in his pocket, where he held up the ball, his strength, his passing, this guy's got it all. He can take a free kick, he can take a penalty, he can shoot, he can pass, he can lay off the ball, he can hold up the ball, he can win headers. He honestly is. And that's something that actually Isak, Alvarez and Jesus can't do all of those things. And by the way, Alvarez is actually older than Haaland. Did you know that?
People do seem to neglect the fact that Haaland is very young. You know, just because he's so good, they do neglect that fact a lot.
But Jesus,
Oh shit, Julian Alvarez is 23 years
can I
old.
just say to think Jesus is a better striker than Ivan Toney. You know what? You've managed to achieve 2 of the worst comments in this chat you've ever done, Brother From. Honestly, I'm waiting for the hat trick now because this is just honestly absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense that Jesus is better than Ivan Toney. I'm sorry, Alvarez and Isak may be better than Toney
just on availability alone.
It's just not. And someone's going to go, yeah, well, we got 6 penalties last season. Okay, then I want you to take all. If you don't think penalties are important, I don't want you to claim that we've won 2 European Cups because you can take the first one away in 2012 because we won it on penalties. You can also take loads of goals away from Frank Lampard as well.
Take the Club World Cup away.
Penalties are vital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take the Club World Cup away because no one hear that because that's what props can't have us up.
Yeah. I know there's interest from Arsenal for Toney, but listen.
He just called him a mid-table striker and brings up Jesus. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
So, look, if he goes to the Goons, he goes to the Goons. But I don't know. I think just because he likes the team or he's a fan or whatever the fuck doesn't necessarily mean he's going to go to the club. We could potentially give him we could potentially give Brentford a better deal, better negotiations. Ivan Toney doesn't strike me as the type of guy who is just going to pull a Caicedo, for example. I think he's willing to go to any club that's willing to pay him and respect him. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if you guys feel he's gonna. Are you guys feeling that he? Can I
tell you right now? I don't think he's got a preference. I just think he wants to leave Brentford.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're not going to get him. How do we know where we're going to be how do we know where both clubs are going to be in January? Or even by the time the deal's agreed in December?
I don't think it's happening.
How do we know where both teams are going to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll see.
Listen. If I say that, what happened? Yeah, what happened?
We took Mudryk from Arsenal as well.
From Arsenal. Whatever you think about it. We took Enzo.
Yeah.
We took Enzo. You know, we took Enzo. Whatever you think about, you know what I mean? It's like, why would you? What's the success rate of our guys? There's very few transfers. In the windows the transfers that these guys, when they've gone for the player, they haven't been able to get. I think it's only Agate, and they walked away from Agate. They didn't get our bid. They walked away from Agate. Believe what you want, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that the Rafinha stuff, but that was just completely naive on their part.
I think they did, but they just left the money on the table essentially.
It's very naive from them, that one.
Yeah, it was, but they haven't done that since. Look at the.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
Look at the Agate thing. They bid the same as PSG, but they weren't going to pay the amount of wages that PSG were, and they went, "No, we'll just leave it and walk away." They're only going to pay for something if they think they're worth it. You're absolutely right. Brentford want to bid in more. Yeah. absolutely freaking right they want to bid him more.
Yeah, most clubs would, especially if they're trying to sell. But for that price, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be just Arsenal and Chelsea. I can guarantee you that there are going to be other clubs involved.
Who do you think?
I can almost see. Let me think. I can see
Because City have Haaland and United have Højlund. Yeah,
Alvarez.
Højlund's their long-term investment.
I can see United getting involved because they would need a backup for Højlund. It can't just be Højlund.
I don't think he'd. Nah,
He wouldn't back up Højlund. He'd be a starter.
He doesn't want to. I don't.
Or not a
he's
backup. I mean,
someone
like they would need an alternative option as well. Is what I meant.
I don't think
Okay.
he doesn't. I don't think. Yeah. See, for me, remember he's coming back off a long ban.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way he's going. He's going to be
Tottenham.
27 and going to 28. He's not going to want to be any like any. He wants to be numero, number one.
Mhm.
Chelsea, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs. If you think about it, really fall into that category.
Right, yeah, Spurs do need that. Yeah, I mean they're playing Son there and he's doing fine, but his position is the wing. Richarlison's not that guy.
That's what I mean. There could be
PSG.
more clubs involved.
PSG wouldn't bid for Ivan Toney. They got Koala. They got Moani.
They got Moani and Ramos.
On loan. Yeah.
And Mbappe can play
They
there.
just signed Moani. And they signed Moani as well.
Yeah.
It's not going to go for Tony.
Yeah, he's above the Bully DiCaprio. Well, if you were here earlier, you would have seen that there's Fabrizio's reporting there's going to be a different approach going into the January transfer window.
Doesn't that you've answered your own question right there? If that clause existed, why would we be going for Tony in the first place?
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
And by the way, there is no such thing as a Bully DiCaprio clause because he wanted Ronaldo.
True.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to the next topic,
It's not Bully.
which is Andre Santos maybe coming back to Chelsea. Maybe we'll see. Let's see why that is. So, according to Liam Toomey, Nottingham Forest incur mutually agree financial penalties if they do not play Andre Santos when he is fit. Chelsea also have a break clause. Then, moving forward, Nottingham Forest manager Steve Cooper on Andre Santos. He's a good player. He's obviously a really good young player. I had a really good chat with Chelsea about him this week. I didn't realize some stuff had been written about him. There's a lot of new players here, and we're really trying to get the balance right in integrating all players at the right time while trying to perform as best as we can in every single game to get the results we want. That's a real process. With young players, sometimes it can take longer than others to settle in. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just circumstantial at the moment in some of the games. That's coming from The Athletic. And then the next tweet we have here, Steve Cooper on Andre Santos. He's been good. He's obviously a really good young player. I had a really good chat with Chelsea this week. Didn't realize the stuff was written about him. His chance will come for sure. Listen, I don't know if he's going to get a chance. And I don't know why he isn't getting a chance. I feel like, okay, listen. Say what you want about Brentford getting all these midfielders and such. I still think I still think Santos is a.
You mean Forest, not Brentford, right?
I still think Santos. Yeah, Forest. Sorry, Red. We were just talking about Brentford. So I do see Santos as a really good talent, and he's probably more talented than the midfielders that they've been getting and the midfielders that they've been fielding out there. So maybe this is where I go back to what Alexis said in the summer. Sometimes with some of these players, it's probably better to just keep them rather than sending them out to a loan, because at least they can train with the team and there's more development in training with the team than being sent out to a shitty loan. Now, I'm not saying at the time the Santos loan was a shitty one. I thought maybe he would get a chance at Nottingham Forest, but after that, Nottingham Forest can get 2-3 more midfielders, which we didn't expect. So it is what it is. Surfer, what are your thoughts, brother?
That's Oliver. Right.
He's just coming back. There's a bit of a delay. It might be on my end. I've been having some issues on my end. So.
No, I think he's talking bullshit. I really do. This guy,
Cooper?
remember, not in the first. Yeah, not in the first. We're in a survival mode. All right.
Yeah.
I listen. I think Santos would have been better going on loan to someone like Luton, so they don't spend any money. So they're not going to buy a lot of players. So. I think there needs to be a real thought in December, like by December, how many minutes has he actually played? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then going,
yeah,
right, we're gonna break it in January, and even if it's like not even to bring him back here, like send him out on loan somewhere else when we know he's gonna play. You know what I mean? So, you know, like even in the Premier League, where we go, okay, so. You make a deal go, he has to play this amount of minutes. Or you will never get. You know what I mean? It has to be that drastic. Or you keep him. Or you keep him. You go, and then you like, if Lavy is up to speed, then you think about sending Leslie out on loan or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Just want to say quickly, I don't think this guy's going to get any chance because I've just checked. But I didn't remember, but I just wanted to check. Nottingham Forest got eliminated from the Carabao Cup by Burnley.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So then there's no cup games. It's only Premier League games that he has a chance for. There's no chance.
That's what I mean. So, I remember after they signed Santos on loan, they bought like Singare from PSV as well.
Yep. They bought 3 midfielders, I think, in total.
Yeah. It's honestly, I think it's a really, and I'm glad they put financial penalties on them.
Good, yeah.
Chelsea used to do this to their own teams. They used to put the ones that didn't work out well because they didn't play the player. They put in a black book and said they weren't ever going to loan them any players. So, I don't know what it does for him if he's not playing at Nottingham Forest, what it does for his development. I really don't. He might as well stay at Chelsea if he's not going to play.
That's the point I made yesterday, yeah.
So that would be, real discussion needs to take place in December about how much time he's actually played to then go, we're definitely going to break the loan no matter what. Whether we send him out again or whether he stays, we're breaking this loan. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree. Just bring him back to Chelsea. Let him train with the first team. And maybe he even gets a chance at Chelsea. Who knows? Because we're going to get the FA Cup coming up as well.
But this is what I said yesterday, though, Marshall. The situation doesn't change. Either way, whether he stays in Nottingham Forest or whether he comes back and stays with the Chelsea first team, he's going to be lost in the shuffle just based on the amount of midfielders that are around him. The only benefit is that he is under Poch's supervision in terms of training and development. That's the only benefit you get from taking him back from Forest and not loaning him again. The solution here is to loan him in January for 6 months and try and find a club that will actually use him. That's what we should be aiming to do. That should be our first priority.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is because there's also, you got to take into consideration the wages he's probably going to be on and the club that's going to be needing a player of that caliber where he can get minutes. I don't think his wages are high, but I just mean. But do you think a Luton is going to want to take on the wages for an Andre Santos?
I don't know. Well, we just go, it depends. It depends if we charge him a loan fee.
Yeah.
Right? If we don't charge him his wages because it's not going to be that high, surely. It's not going to be they're going to be under 50k, right?
No, he's a youth player.
Yeah, it's going to be like 20k maximum, I think. So if you don't put a loan fee in there, then you can go. And Luton haven't really even. I think Luton spent like £14 million since they come up. They spent probably more on the renovation of their stadium.
True. We'll see. I mean,
imagine that.
Situation.
Andre Santos and Ross Barkley in Luton.
Andrea, even if we bought a club in Portugal, we couldn't send him out anyway because all our international loans are done.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the other thing to take into consideration too, is that I think had everything gone to plan, maybe things would have turned out differently, because I think we all agreed the Santos loan came out of nowhere. It really came out of nowhere.
Well, it was a surprise, wasn't it? Because he was one of our best players in preseason.
Yeah, it really seemed like he was going to stay. It just, the links came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, boom, there you go.
All of a sudden, Leslie joins, and he's now staying.
Yeah,
Leslie joined, and then we hadn't signed Caicedo, but then we signed Caicedo and Lavia. So instantly, the slots for midfield. Because remember, Leslie was actually linked to go out on loan.
Yeah,
I think he only stayed because Lavia wasn't done or injured or something like that. So you keep him. So but if he comes back from Forest, I would not expect us to loan any players to Forest for a couple of what's happened. I expect no club to loan. I don't know why. Thinking about it hindsight-wise, I don't know why any club loans any of their players in the Premier League to Forest now, given the overturn of players that come in and out of that club. And I can understand it. I have no problem with how they do business, but it's like we should probably go look at the whole entire situation, how the club operates in terms of transfers, whether your players going to get enough time or not.
So, I mean, obviously, we're going to keep an eye on what happens to Santos. Hopefully in January we can find a solution, because he does need to play. And who knows? Maybe things turn around. He does start playing for Steve Cooper, and then he becomes a consistent starter. Who knows? We never know. But I do. Maybe. Now, in hindsight, we see that this loan isn't working out. And we're going to have to make some changes, because I do want this player to develop. And I do want to have an absolute nightmare of a headache deciding who's going to actually stay in this team and who's going to get sold and or loaned, So.
Hey, maybe Gallagher gets sold in January squad.
Maybe. maybe. We'll see. All right, let's talk about another player, Angelo. We haven't heard of this guy for a little bit, but apparently he's been cooking. So let's sing his praises a little bit. Why don't we? So Angelo, in addition to Strasbourg Player of the Month award, Angelo Gabriel is on the verge of being elected Nugget of the Month for September in League One Uber Eats. I don't know what Nugget of the Month means, but
it is. I think it's the Young Player of the Month.
Nugget of the Month,
which he did end up winning that, by the way.
Oh, good. That's awesome. Good for him, and congratulations. Yeah, he's our September Player of the Month according to
that's Strasbourg. Yeah.
This guy's been cooking. Good for him. Anyone who is on loan watching Angelo, this has been a good loan for him, man. And we all kind of knew he's gonna cook. This guy had a lot of talent. When he was with us in the preseason, he was kind of putting Sterling's spot in danger for a minute, and then Sterling obviously stepped up. But Angelo, congrats on this guy. Another selection headache when he comes back to Chelsea, I'm sure. But guys, thoughts on Angelo Gabriel? He's doing well on his loan.
Yes, and then I watched the game of Strasbourg against Nantes, and they lost. He didn't play well, so it was
bittersweet.
I think they're playing him more centrally as well. HBO seems to be playing more as a 10 the last few games. But this
he did have that passing ability. We saw it in preseason. His passing and his link up was very good.
So this is a point of a loan working, and any Chelsea fan goes, "Oh no, we should have kept him and called him back." No, because I don't think he would have got the minutes. This is the whole point of a loan. This is what a loan's supposed to do: get your guy minutes, and stuff like that. And it's working out. And then you come back and see what you can do in pre-season. This is what we want the Santos loan to be. Where you say, that's right. That's another guy.
True.
That's another guy Madueke has to be worried about. Andrew's right about that. Absolutely, he's right about that. So this is what a loan's supposed to look like. So hopefully it continues what the Santos loans will look like.
Hopefully too. And let's not forget Mr. Diego Moreira too. Let's hope his loan works out as well.
Yeah, he's at Lyon, isn't he?
Yeah, he's at Lyon, and I've heard he's been playing decent. Yeah,
that's another guy. out there. People probably even forget he's our player.
Yeah.
I'll probably see a tweet going, that Moreira guy that's really good. We should bid for him in the summer or something. I'll probably see that.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I saw the Man City fan Hamza tweet about Angelo going, future Man City player, and I went to him, he's ours, buddy. He's ours. Angelo is our player.
Yes. So I mean, obviously,
wasn't there a Liverpool fan that was going on about Kendrick Paez as well? And then
yes,
does he know?
That's exactly what he was alluding to. Yeah. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah,
that's another player that we'll have to see. I mean, listen, as of right now, this youth project, quote unquote, it's looking promising. Obviously, we're gonna have to see how these things play out in the long run. But hey, man, we got some entertaining and exciting prospects coming back to Chelsea. So let's hope for the best. Let's hope they continue these performances. But another prospect, and this is the final topic. We'll end on this one, guys. It's been a long show.
God.
If you've been,
like
I know.
Super Bowl week. This stream
Listen.
like a fucking Super Bowl.
For 2.5 weeks of not having done the show, which my apologies, things did come up and I wasn't able to do it. But for 2.5 weeks for not having done the show for 2.5 hours,
Marshall, it was the game schedule as well, because a lot of the games were on Sunday.
Schedules, yeah, the game schedules were also.
Imagine if he hadn't done this for a month.
Oh Jesus Christ! 4-hour stream easily. A fucking streamathon. Jesus. But yeah, so if you guys are still here, big up to yourselves. I want to do an experiment. If you've gotten this far in the video, in the comments section, give me a fire emoji. If you got to this point of the stream, first of all, big up to you. You're the real one. And second of all, leave a fire emoji down in the comments so I know that you actually got this far into the damn stream. So big up to you. You're a legend. But let's go ahead onto the final topic. And Danish Madini, I see you, man. Big up to you, my friend. Final topic of discussion, talking about exciting players and exciting youth. Cole Palmer is now seeing his praises being sung by Mauricio Pochettino. So let's go ahead, read Mike McGrath reporting here. Mauricio Pochettino described Cole Palmer as a link player that was his most effective function in the win on Saturday. He often drifted inside and swept the ball over to the left flank when he saw an overload of Chelsea players ready to attack. Moving on to the next tweet as well regarding the Cole Palmer. Man City did not want to stand in Cole Palmer's way when it was clear he wanted to leave for Chelsea. And he would have been useful to Guardiola given his current injury concerns. But his loss is Chelsea's gain, as Cole Palmer has shown glimpses of him being more than an out-and-out winger, according to Mike McGrath. Listen, this guy's been pretty good. I'm not going to call out names, but I know people were not happy with him being signed for the price that he was signed for. People wanted Kudus, which to each their own. But hey, he's been working out for Chelsea and he's been playing really well. And I'm happy that we got him, and I'm happy he's playing well.
I said to you yesterday, I think what's actually the most surprising thing right now is when we go with a front three, he's the first name on the list. You have to go like the striker and the left wing, where you go, it's like a mix-up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Palmer's like one of the first names on the list. He's built like Ahmeds, but he's got a spine and a pair of balls. That's the difference with this guy.
Sure, yeah.
He's very hard to shake off the ball. And for someone's put in the chat yesterday to put on some muscle. No, that would take away from his game if he put on muscle. He's a good passer. We've already seen at City with a couple of goals he scored this season for him. He's got a good shot on him.
I could have used him today, right?
Yeah. He's got good intelligence. He retreats. He wins the ball back a lot as well. He's looking. He started well. And I repeat again, he's 6 open play assists away from matching Mason Mount's entire career. That's just a slight dig. That's just a petty dig, and I apologise, but I don't.
I'll go on further. I mentioned this earlier. He's already matched Mount's big chances from last season.
Yeah. So I would. Don't listen. Don't compare him to anyone. He's Cole Palmer. He's the first and only Cole Palmer. And
Old Palmer.
you know what? I think he's linked really well with Nico Jackson. I think he's done really well with Nico. The game against yesterday's game, I thought actually bringing Nico Jackson on actually put Cole Palmer more into the game, because the first half he wasn't really. He didn't really have an impact in the first.
Yeah, I didn't
half.
particularly notice him. No.
Mm-hmm.
And that was different. And like I said, that was different because he did have an impact in Fulham, but it's just the way the striker was being played. So, good on him. And like I said, the biggest compliment I can pay him is the fact that it's now that starting the free for me. His place is, to me, his place at the moment is safe. It's cemented. Isn't it? So that's the biggest compliment. I'm gonna love to see how he plays, like within Cuckoo, like that. When he plays within Cuckoo, or when he plays even like a Chukwuemeka, like that. So he falls up there, or even if he plays in the 10 and someone's on the right, so like a Mudryk and a Sterling. So I think it's nice. It's good to see. I'm glad. And you were right, and we probably all had the things where we went, Cole Palmer, 45 million. Why didn't we get Kudus or something like that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's played very well, and he's earned his place in the team very quickly as well.
He's been getting results.
By the way, like I said earlier, maybe Poch didn't want. Maybe it wasn't Poch's choice. You're seeing Poch use him a lot. So if he's Poch's choice or not, he's his player and he's using him right now. So, you know.
Well, even if he isn't Poch's choice, at the end of the day, you know, Poch wanted the profile, and that was a right-wing 10 hybrid. And he's got it. It doesn't matter about specific names. It's about, you know, get him a profile and then use him. And that's what he's done. I'm very, very happy with the way Palmer's been going. You know, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I mean, we said it, you know, there was doubts about him. I'll say this. I had faith because he's coming from Man City. I genuinely, and maybe call me too blindsided on this or whatever, maybe even deluded, but I tend to trust players that come from Man City, mostly because you have Pep Guardiola that's training them. And there's a structure, there's a regimen there that these players, they know a system, they know a style of play. Man City get a certain profile of players, and these players do, for the most part, you know, 9 times out of 10, become really good players. You know, there are the exceptions. You do have your Ferran Torres, who ended up not, you know, doing much. And I really can't really name much else of other Man City players that didn't work out, that went off to other clubs. But you know, even today, I'm kind of egging on Jeremy Doku because people like to hype him. But I understand he's a really good player. You could see it. You know, today he just got unlucky. Yeah. But like Cole Palmer, yes, he's young. Yes, you know, he didn't play much under Pep Guardiola, but he trained with them, and he learned.
And like I said yesterday, he had Bernardo Silva and Riyad Mahrez ahead of him. You know, that's no easy task as a young player. Very much
not. Yeah.
To get ahead of that.
He's been really good. This is what I mean. This is where we start getting to the selection headache, because Sterling did a great performance yesterday. We have Cole Palmer, you know. Carney Chukwuemeka wasn't that bad when he was playing the games before he got injured. So that's another selection headache. You know, you got Jackson, who's the striker, who now 2 games now that he started, he's scored goals in both those games. Mudryk as well, who's been stepping up as like looking creative as well. So there's a big headache here. There's a big headache.
And just to bring it back to a conversation we were having earlier, this is kind of where, for me, this is where like I'm looking at Gallagher and I'm thinking you might have to come out now, because
Yeah.
You know, put Palmer in that 10 and have Mudryk and Sterling on those
agree.
wings. Like that is firepower
But
at
then
the
this is
current
again
rate.
where I come back. Like it's gonna be if Gallagher comes back into this side, it's gonna have to be a tactical reasoning. Like we're gonna have to see something. Like you know there'll be reasons to see him play.
Because
Take advantage of
Palmer,
the strengths and the
play
weaknesses.
right.
You know.
Palmer can play right wing, but like I said, there's options to play Sterling right wing and Mudryk left wing, and Palmer or Chukwuemeka in the centre. And at least where does Gallagher go? Because I don't want to go back to Gallagher and just stick to Palmer. But
Yeah.
Palmer gives you, Oliver said it, a hybrid player, and that's what that's what Pep has done the last 2 years. Is do his squad of basically hybrid players. They can play at least 2 positions, on paper anyway. That he wants, and Palmer does that. I mean, I will say this, he's very left-footed, and that's fine. Because we saw it like the assist that he got. Obviously, he's on the right, and the ball came to him, I think, on his right foot, and obviously he's not right-footed, and the angle didn't suit it. But at least he's got the intelligence to pick out Jackson instead of like going for the glory himself, like that. Which is good to see, and he's deceptive. He's a very deceptive player. Looking at him, because like I say, he's built like a Peter Crouch, like a Kai Havertz. Yeah. And you would think he's so wiry that he's actually very strong on the ball. Defends the ball well. Has got pace on him as well, and he's started very well. It's like, I can understand people like going like when Cole Palmer's name is brought up, like when we first went from I can understand Cole Palmer. That will be like, you know, that I can understand that. I can totally understand that, but you know that if he continues going as he's doing right now, that 45 in this transfer market. You know
I just want to go on to like I just want to go on to the way people reacted at that, because I think people just have short-term memories. That's all I'm going to say. Now, people have short-term memories because, you know, last season everyone was raving about Rico Lewis. This season it seems to be Oscar Bob. Cole Palmer was like rated at City as like the one after Phil Foden, and however much you rate Foden or not, like I think Foden's a bit overrated, but he's still a quality player. So for him to be the one after that, you know, that is high praise, and you know, we've got that in our team now. So, and he's been coached by Pep, so that adds another layer of just, you know, confidence onto the fan base that this guy is good on the ball and that he can definitely work in a functional team.
The Arsenal game is going to this run of fixtures. Take out the Brentford one, take out the Blackburn Rovers League Cup one. This run now we're going to find out who's the phony tough in this squad right now. True. And see who lets their heads drop and doesn't pick up, or actually goes, no, screw this. Like against Burnley, whatever you say, we still went 1-0 down to Burnley, and I've seen us like our heads drop and we just disintegrate.
Yeah, 100%.
But like the Arsenal game that's coming up, it'll be interesting to see who he goes up, like if he goes up against Zinchenko like that at left back, and what he can do, and whose striker we go. Do we go with Broha for the physicality? Do we go with Nick Jackson for the move? Stuff like that. It'll be this run coming up will. Let's just say this: if you go near a Chelsea player after this run, if they smell like smoke, it's because they've been through fire in these league fixtures. You know what I mean? The gauntlet is down. But yeah, on this little mini run, Cole Palmer stood out, and I'm glad that he's not been. I don't think he would have been like afraid anyway. He's come from Man City. He's Pepper's a coach, so he wouldn't be anything like that. And by the way, it was a penalty, and I don't care. He scored.
We had Enzo miss a penalty, you know? Like, at the end of the day, we got to score our goals, and we got to score our penalties. And if he's taking a penalty the way he took it, then, you know, good for him. Let him take penalties from now on whenever he's on the starting lineup. We need someone that can.
Why is Enzo
Enzo, stop this Enzo agenda, okay? Stop. Just because he's not carrying the team now doesn't mean he hasn't been doing well. Okay, yes, he hasn't been. He didn't have his best game last game, but that doesn't mean he was bad. Okay, but with Palmer, I will say like he's been very impressive. He's impressed me more than I could even imagine, more than you could believe. But what I like the most about him is, again, it's the same thing Badiashile has in his game, and Leslie. That calmness on the ball is amazing to see, especially in the attacking position. When you're like, oh, I gotta score, you know, like the anxiety gets to you. You got the pressure of the fans, and you know, well, he remains calm. He
settled himself down and he weighted that pass to Jackson perfectly.
Yeah, in the Brighton game and in this game too.
It wasn't rushed. It wasn't fast.
And for his age to have that calmness is fantastic.
The pass to Broha was a bit too rushed. I do that one was.
I keep forgetting about that Brighton game. That Meg was unbelievable. You don't see that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. More often than not, we see players in that position overshoot that pass because I gotta get it to him quick. You know, no, calm and collected, nice short little pass right in front of Jackson, almost like in training, and boom, puts it away elegantly. It was beautiful to see it. So,
that's what I'm saying. I can't wait if we get Cuckoo back, and if we go get a striker like a Toney or an Osimhen or something like that, for this kid to actually like work with them, and I think he'll bring his game on more as well to actually like
agree,
or even Chukwuemeka to have an actual 10, an attacking midfielder in there like that. You know, I just think very well done so far. Good signing.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to look forward to with this team. Let's just hope it keeps improving, and we can keep praising these players like this. But ladies and gents, it's been a record-breaking long show. Thank you to the panel who stayed.
This is our interval now. We'll be back in 15 minutes.
Yeah, right. We're gonna go ahead and raid our friends as usual over at Sarcasm City. So go ahead and show them some love by copying and pasting that. Raid a message if it ever shows up. I don't know if it's going to show up, but it's okay. Just let them know you're coming from Casually FC. Okay. But ladies and gents, as usual, smash up the like buttons if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 2.3K, so let's get closer to that number. Also, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out when we do go live, when we go live. We have the international break coming up. The schedule will be a little sporadic. You might not see us as often, or maybe you will see us even more often. I don't know. Hit the bell notification so you are aware. And we'll, me, Surfer, everyone in the panel will discuss when we're doing shows and such. Be sure to check out the links below for everyone's channels, Twitters, all that stuff. Leave a comment. Let us know if you got to this point. Fire emoji. And also let us know what you thought about everything we discussed and your opinions on that. Also, I will say, if you haven't already done so, be sure to check out the memberships. We have 4 different tiers starting at 99p. And if you're at the proper casual tier and higher, you get yourself a shout out at the end of each show. And that goes to OG Turbo Jesus, Dark, Scott, Adrian, Will, A. Solomon, Maro, CFC, The Danzo, Chelsea Till I Die, AP, and Iwani. Big up to all of you guys who are members at that tier and higher. And big up to all our other members as well who were here to the very end of the show. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for your support. We'll see you again soon. You will be notified if you hit that bell notification. But till then, enjoy international break and stay casual. Peace.